sir.
What's up?
Now you brought it back.
Frank Sampson, man, what's happening?
You keep catching me off guard. I thought you was done being Vernon Payne.
Hey, man.
I'm playing music for you.
What is going on, Frank Champion? What's happening?
Another day, another dollar, another way to make
Hey, man. Welcome back. What a fun world of wrestling we are currently living in. What's up? What's happening? What's going on?
Oh, I forgot something.
Wrestling world. It is your boys here on the Pay Window podcast on the Sandbox Podcast Network. Shout out to the big boss.
This way. It's kind of hard to do that.
Local social media personality.
Okay, I'm back.
To the big bro. Shout out to you.
Your neighborhood media
personality. Your neighborhood media personality. The big
Shout
bro.
out to the big boss, man.
What's going on?
Salute to him.
Salute to him.
Who are you?
I am Vernon Somoza.
Here we go.
You know, I do what I do. And sitting to my...
Am I going the right way? Here we are. I go by the name of... Oh, whoops. I hit the wrong button. I go by the name of Frank Champion. But you know what? Tonight, I think my name is Frank Hall because I got the toothpick in my mouth. Listen, I made some rice and beans yesterday with some chicken, old school Haitian meal. And I was eating the rice right before we started tonight. And I had some rice lodged in between my teeth. I was like, I need a toothpick. It's been in my mouth for the last hour, two and a half hours. So tonight I'm going, hey, yo. And we're doing it. Can I do a survey?
Fair enough.
Can I do a survey?
Sure.
I'm trying to think who I can bury. Did you guys come to see? Help me out here, Vern. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Did you guys come here to see?
Did you guys come out here to see? I don't know what we want to bury.
I don't know.
That's the options, right?
The Wrestling Observer newsletter.
Did you guys come out here to see the professor, or did you guys come out here to see
the Pay Window?
The Pay Window.
Shout
out to the professor because I know you're probably seeing right now sleeping, but that's all right.
He's definitely sleeping. All good. It's supposed to be a 4-man booth tonight. We're gonna keep it. We're gonna keep it. AEW, I guess. It's going to be a 3-man booth, so I guess we should.
3-man booth tonight, yeah.
We're gonna. Hey, in the theme of NWO, why don't we just stay there? You're Kevin Nash. You're Vernon Nash. I'm Frank Hall. We got to bring in the third man. Who's the third man?
Is it
Mabel? Mabel's the third man.
No, this would be our what the hell's his name? What's Bischoff kid's name?
Garrett? Oh God,
this is Garrett. This is Garrett right here. What do you mean? I'm Hulk, you're Eric, and this is Garrett now. The Garrett's about to come on into the fold.
Is the Sandbox paying for his training? Is that a part of the production contract?
100%. Listen, our friendly. We all know shout out to Big Bro. It was in the rider, man. We had to make sure we got taken care of.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's introduce the third man.
Word.
The Terry Bollea of tonight's podcast, brother dude,
the problematic man. Himself.
Excuse me. None other than, and he's been back. This was his third time back?
Yeah, man. He's becoming a regular.
The recurring character, the featured artist, my man, my partner, and number one in your hearts, Shay Bollea.
What's up, my ninjas?
Oh, whoa! Jesus!
My man with the Hogan gif early. Hogan gif all day.
He's spray painting the side of the production truck right now. Holy, whoa, stop it. Holy, wow. Were you ready for that, Vern? I wasn't ready for that.
I was not ready for that.
I wasn't ready for that.
And as I said, when it came to problematic, he came in swinging hot.
Yeah, Shay strikes the iron when it's hot, for sure.
Bury me softly, brother. I'm sorry.
Bury me softly. Shay, what's the deal? What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, nothing at all. Just chilling.
Nothing?
No, nothing.
How you feeling?
Nothing.
You feeling all right today?
I'm good. I'm feeling good.
Just checking. I'm just checking. How was your training today?
It sucked.
Why's that, Shay?
I got a low blow. Yeah. Got kicked down below the belt.
A shoot
toe right to The left one
The toe.
felt like I was gonna
the big toe
go all over the
left.
face. Yeah, it was awful. Had to go for a walk.
I told him to rub the belly, Vern. You know the old joint, the old school joint.
Oh,
didn't work. My kidney was hurting me for mad long.
listen,
sheesh.
Yep,
rubbing it doesn't work. It's the same way Julia Harton. I was trying to rub that pain in her side.
What happened?
You
Rubbing
didn't
it.
see that. So he took a
Doesn't
gory
work.
special from Anna J onto a pile of chairs on the floor outside.
It sounds dangerous.
And a couple of the chairs were kind of positioned like this, and she's like 87 pounds with 12.
I really think that's just what it is. I just think physics of she's super.
Yeah, and her bones.
Very
I'm
thin.
sure her bones smacked the chair.
There's no
And-
meat there.
She went from flat face bump to my side. Ooh, my side.
I love it.
Immediately. So
Yo, got
you'll
pinned.
find it on Twitter.
I was telling for anybody. Got pinned. 1, 2. She was like this. You could see her like not selling. Like you know how like someone's hurt and you're like, oh wait, no, that's real pain. That's like
old Shane McMahon knee cell.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, before we continue on, did you guys see that?
Catch it out.
Did you guys see that thing I sent y'all about Triple H explaining the botch pedigree on the table?
No.
He was on the Impulsive podcast. Just want to point. I
watched that part. I probably just don't remember.
I don't remember.
Okay,
I don't remember saying this either.
He's explaining how the table gave out. Him and Kurt. Kurt was supposed to leave anyway. It was planned for Kurt to be gone. And he hits the pedigree, and Kurt's shoot knocked out.
Head just bounces off the floor.
He said snoring. He started snoring. Yep, I do remember.
And he tells him stay down. So I watched that whole podcast. Not the podcast. I watched that part again, and I was like, no way. Triple H is making this up. He's a worker. He's just working these guys. I'm watching it. I've seen people knocked out before. And when they're snoring, they don't snore like you're snoring when you're asleep, where you're just, when you snore, when you're knocked out, it's like a whole body move. It's like
you're trying to swallow your own tongue.
Yes. Kurt was moving in a way. I was like, oh, he's knocked out. And I can hear Triple H on the audio. Stay down, just like he told them in the podcast. I was like, oh my God, this really did happen.
Oh, wow.
I was like, I had no idea how many times I've seen that match.
Yeah.
Where Kurt gets in custody,
how many
comes
times
back.
we've seen that clip? The hazards are real. Please do not try this at home.
And that's one of the spots.
That video the whole time.
And
the
it
whole
was a
time.
shoot, a straight up shoot. There was no.
I've always assumed the spot was that the table broke. That was a danger. I never realized it was that Kurt got KO'd.
Kurt got knocked, but he was supposed to put him through the table because it was early, and Kurt was supposed to leave and then come back. So Triple H and
he was supposed to leave anyway. He was supposed to. All that was supposed to happen.
It kind of worked out. So they were in the back now tending to him, and I guess they got a message from the ref, and Triple H says, "Kurt's good to come back. He has no idea where he is." And I'm like, bruh, if this was now, he'd never make it back to the ring. Match would be over. Yes. Match would be over. CTE, concussion protocol, he'd be gone for a minute. But what was that? 02, 03 maybe?
Oh, 2000.
That was 2000. Thank you, Shay.
Yep.
He's our professor tonight. He's the real professor right here. 2000. They didn't care about none of that. Walk it off. Oh, you broke your leg? Walk it off. You're good. You know what I mean? I just wanted to bring that up because I was just like, blew my mind. Something that did blow my mind. You watch how I segue here. Because let's get started. We're about 9 minutes in.
Yeah.
Something that did blow my mind. You guys hear the Rhaka Khan lawsuit? You guys hear about this?
Wild.
This
if you've
Rhaka
not
Khan
read
lawsuit?
this or heard this is
a basic version of it.
Okay.
Take a sip of water.
I'm sipping my water now because I'm gonna have to talk a lot right here. and Vern, I got my voice back. I don't know if you noticed.
I see
I
that.
mean, it's been about 2 weeks, so
What did Kurt Angle's boo do today?
let's see. First, let me show you this picture of Miss Khan.
I don't want to see
This
no
is
picture of
from
Rhaka Khan.
this is from 411 Mania. Where can I get it up? Bam, right there. Good old Rhaka Khan. Look at my man Cute Kip in the background. Oh, right here. Cute Kip. Who would this be? Is this Tracy Brooks?
That's Tracy Brooks.
Oh God. This is
girl.
low-key my TNA, though. This is low-key my TNA. Okay, so I'm gonna read this. Rhaka Khan's lawsuit against FBI, multiple wrestling names, and more. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not Scott Hall anymore. It's gonna be the way.
Why is she suing Nunzio? Yeah.
Good question, Shay. Let me read this to you. Okay, here we go. Former TNA star Rhaka Khan's lawsuit filed against a dizzying number of parties, including the FBI, the state of Texas, and a ton of wrestling personalities and companies, is reportedly cleared to move forward. How? I don't know.
This is money.
PW, but wait until you hear who, okay? PW Insider reports that Trinisha Biggers, who was Rhaka Khan in TNA, had a run in WWE's developmental system, filed a lawsuit in October of 2022 in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York, of course. What are we doing, Vern? What are we allowing? The suit alleged that there was a conspiracy against her in regard to the criminal court case she has been facing since 2019 on charges of interference with child custody and aggravated kidnapping facilitate. You got that last part? Okay.
Yep.
Let me move on. According to the site, the lawsuit was filed against dozens of parties that included wrestling legends, promoters, NBA legend Michael Jordan, various police departments, and at least one individual, Chris Benoit, who has been dead for 16 years. The lawsuit alleges that the defendants conspired to kidnap plaintiff and her children. The site notes that the 48-page, I'm not trying to laugh through this. The site notes that the 48-page lawsuit mostly consists of the list of defendants, some of whom are listed multiple times. The following individuals are among those on the defendant list. You guys, please keep count. The state of Texas, the El Paso Child Protective Services, the FBI, the Las Cruces, New Mexico Police Department, the NYPD, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, New York ACS, Omega Psi-Phi Fraternity, Inc., Shirley Police Department, Sigma Phi Epsilon, Suffolk County, New York, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, The Miz and Maryse, Heath Miller, which is Heath Slater, Nikki Bella, Chris Benoit, Mark Jindrak, Panda Energy, the now defunct company that owned TNA, Home Depot, Florida Championship Wrestling, also now defunct, Steve Kern, the NWA, Billy Corgan, Deep South Wrestling, also defunct, Bank of America, Michael Jordan, several universities, I'm not trying to laugh through this, Jim Cornette, Mick Foley, New York City area energy company Con Edison, and more. Okay, we're about halfway there. According to the report, there was no movement until February, when court records indicate that Biggers was allowed to move forward with the lawsuit with the prepayment of any court fees. She was notified of the filing by mail at a home address listed in New York City. Biggers is said to be seeking $3 billion in damages, and none of the listed defendants have been served as of yet. Biggers still has a bench warrant. Okay, let me read that again. Biggers still has a bench warrant for her arrest after she failed to appear in December on the charges. Biggers was indicted on the charges in August 2019 and was at one point one of the most wanted fugitives in El Paso when she didn't show up in court. She was finally arraigned in December of that year after no showing, 2 court appearances, and having her bail revoked. Her trial was delayed many different times, due in part to the pandemic. According to Texas law, interference with child custody is when someone takes or retains a child when that person knows that the taking or detention of the child violates a judgment or order. It is a felony punishable. It is a felony and punishable by up to 2 years in prison. Okay. That was a lot, but I'm just going to see if I interpret what I just read, Vern, because that was almost a blind reaction. I knew a little bit of it. Shay, you didn't know. Vern, I know you read some stuff, right? So what I'm seeing here is she took her baby when she wasn't supposed to when she had custody. Okay? She had to bring the baby back. She didn't bring the baby back to whoever has custody of the baby. She got in trouble for it. She has to show up in court. She no-showed her appearances. Mm-hmm. Now she wants to sue all these people because they're conspiring against her to try to get her in trouble. Is that what that sounded like? What I just read, or am I reading that wrong?
Well, that they conspired to kidnap her children and her.
Thank you. I did.
That
is what I read.
That's what she's accusing them of.
That all those people. Okay, Michael Jordan, Dwayne The Rock Johnson, the Miz and Maurice, Heath Miller, a defunct Panda Energy who was out of business before 2019, Chris Benoit, who's been dead since when, Shay? You got this.
07.
In 2019,
June of 07.
Thank you, sir. Who helped conspire to kidnap her child and her. Mark Jindrak, Home Depot, Florida Championship Wrestling.
Mark Jindrak hasn't been a thing since like 04.
I said I'm trying not to laugh.
How dare you?
Okay, I'm just gonna say one thing. This is clearly a cash grab, right? She's just trying to catch a settlement out of court and go, I'm cool. I just wanted to make some money.
Here's the thing that's interesting, though. If as you read it, the court said she has to prepay all the fees. That's why nobody's been served, because you have to pay for all that to be done, and you have to pay ahead of it.
Of course.
I think that's why the court. I don't know. Part of me just feels like some was like, look, if you agree to pay it all ahead of time,
you can sue. You can continue to sue.
How dare she besmirch the name of Skinner? And 2, whatever she's on, I want some of that. So yeah,
bro, I know I didn't have much to say about this, but I had to bring it up because it's absolutely ridiculous.
Has that woman ever been in the same vicinity as like The Rock or Michael Jordan?
She was in developmental for what? Not even a cup of coffee, a cup of espresso. I'm sorry. Like, how could she even blame some of those people that she has on this list? It's clearly, I'm going to try and go for the richest people, and let's see if their lawyers are just settled.
Well, bro.
Again, I think that
Heath Slater.
That's why it says prepay those prepay those fees, because I think she must have been banging on somebody's door, and someone just decided to say, "I'll entertain it," but you know. So all I'm gonna say is this:
real quick.
I hope you get help. That's it. I'll leave it at that.
Shay, anything?
I hope you get help and you find closure to whatever it is you're looking for.
She's a good brother.
That's it.
That's about it.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I had nothing really. I just wanted to talk about it because
she's a worried mom.
News. She's a worried mom.
Let her live.
She's a worried mom. It has to be the most ridiculous lawsuit. There's some weird ones out there. I don't know off the top of my head. We've heard about some weird ones throughout our lives, but that one is one of the craziest ones. Sure. And the thing that pisses me off is on my phone, I've been seeing the dirt sheets use The Rock's name so they can clickbait you into clicking on that article, and they're talking about Rhaka Khan and her silly lawsuit. That's the thing that pissed me off.
Famous wrestling personality, legend, sports legend named in lawsuit. That's all it says.
It's a lawsuit, not a silly lawsuit.
Oh,
there's a percentage that it's true. Okay. So just leave it at that.
Moving on.
Okay.
Let's go.
We hope everyone has their day in court.
Sure. Everybody's innocent till proven guilty.
Everyone is allowed their day in court, right?
There you go.
Guilty as charged.
Let's move on to some serious legal stuff, because this stuff here it's wild. This was from a while back. This was about a month ago. I'd say about 2-3 weeks ago. Former pro wrestler charged in Mississippi welfare fraud case that also involves Brett Favre. So, Shay, I know you don't follow football, but Brett Favre, former quarterback during the 90s and early 2000s, I'm sure you've heard the name. He got caught up in some wild stuff. They were taking money. All right, first of all, before I continue, Mississippi is one of the poorest states in the country. One of the poorest states in the country. They have things set in order to help people out, welfare and all this stuff. These rich folks that live in Mississippi, like Brett Favre, were taking those funds from them and using it for their own personal gain. Okay? The biggest name on it was Brett Favre. Biggest name was Brett Favre, because Brett Favre's from Mississippi, played in Southern Mississippi football, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, one of the most recognizable names. Brett Favre's at the front of this list. Who else is on this list is Ted DiBiase Jr. So this is why we're bringing this up. So it says former pro wrestler charged in Mississippi welfare fraud case that also involves Brett Favre. The indictment of Ted DiBiase Jr. is the latest development in a sprawling Mississippi corruption case involving wealthy and well-connected people. I don't know. Can y'all hear my dog snoring?
Nah.
Y'all don't hear that? Hold on.
Yeah, I heard it.
Oh, and then he quiets down like he knows I'm putting him on the spot or something. He's so loud. This one isn't that long. No, it's not that long. Okay. So here we go. From the top. Companies run by a former professional wrestler received, so I hope y'all see this, sham contracts in Mississippi and misspent millions of dollars of welfare money that was supposed to help some of the neediest people in the U.S., according to a new federal indictment. And by the way, this is from the Philadelphia Inquirer by Emily Wagster Pettis of the Associated Press. So this is legitimate news, not no dirt sheet site or anything like that. The indictment of former professional wrestler Teddy DiBiase Jr., 40, of Madison, Mississippi, was unsealed Thursday, 2 days after it was issued by a grand jury in Jackson. During a brief court appearance Thursday, he pleaded not guilty. Jesus loves you, brother. God bless you, man. Ted DiBiase told a WAPT-TV reporter outside of the federal courthouse. The indictment is the latest development in a sprawling Mississippi corruption case involving wealthy and well-connected people receiving contracts from the State Department of Human Services from 2016 to 2019. DiBiase was a WWE wrestler in the 2000s and 2010s. The indictment accuses him and co-conspirators, including former Mississippi Department of Human Services Director John Davis, of fraudulently obtaining federal money and using it for their own benefit. According to the indictment, Davis directed funds from the Emergency Food Assistance Program, TFAP, and the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, TANF, program to two nonprofit organizations, Family Resource Center of North Mississippi, Inc., directed by Christy Webb, and Mississippi Community Education Center, directed by Nancy New. Her last name is New, N-E-W, New. That's weird. Webb and New have both pleaded guilty in the welfare fraud scandal. Davis told Webb and New to award contracts in 2017 and 2018 to DiBiase's companies, wait for this one, Priceless Ventures, LLC. And
Priceless.
I shouldn't laugh. This is serious. And Family Orientum, LLC, for social services that the companies did not provide, the indictment said. DiBiase allegedly used these federal funds to buy a vehicle and a boat and for the down payment on the purchase of a house, among other expenditures, the Justice Department said in a news release Thursday. DiBiase's attorney, Scott Gilbert, said in a statement that Thursday was a good day for his client. After being forced to sit quietly for nearly 3 years while opportunists took unabated swings at Teddy and his family, Teddy now has the opportunity to fight back publicly, Gilbert said. As much as every one of us have the right to decide for ourselves whether our government is effective or prudent in the way it carries out its functions, criminalizing what in hindsight may be fairly characterized as poor fiscal management by the executive branch of state government is dangerous and worrisome precedent. I'm sorry. I'm just lawyer talk. DiBiase is charged with 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire fraud and to commit theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, 6 counts of wire fraud, 2 counts of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds, and 4 counts of money laundering. If convicted, he will face up to 5 years in prison for the conspiracy count, up to 20 years for each wire fraud count, and up to 10 years for each count of theft concerning programs receiving federal funds and for each count of money laundering, the Justice Department says. Davis pleaded guilty last year to charges tied to welfare misspending in the state's largest public corruption case, including $160,000 spent on drug rehabilitation in Malibu, California, for former pro wrestler Brett DiBiase, the brother of Teddy DiBiase. Brett DiBiase has pleaded guilty to state and federal charges tied to the case. The welfare misspending scandal has ensnared high-profile figures, including retired NFL quarterback Brett Favre, who is not facing criminal charges, but is among more than 3 dozen defendants in a civil lawsuit that the current Human Services Director filed last year to try and recover some of the welfare money wasted while Davis was in charge. Teddy DiBiase, Brett DiBiase, and their father, former pro wrestler Ted DiBiase Sr., are also defendants in the civil lawsuit. DiBiase Sr. was known as the $1 Million Man while wrestling. He is a Christian evangelist and a motivational speaker and still works the indies. And he ran Heart of David Ministries, which received $1.7 million in welfare grant money in 2017 and 2018 for mentorship, marketing, and other services, according to the lawsuit. Mississippi has ranked among the poorest states in the U.S. for decades, but only a fraction of its federal welfare money has been going towards direct aid to families. Instead, the Mississippi Department of Human Services allowed well-connected people to fritter away tens of millions of welfare dollars from 16 to 19, according to the state auditor and state and federal prosecutors. Temporary assistance for needy families money helped pay for pet projects of the wealthy, including $5 million for a volleyball arena that Favre supported at his alma mater, the University of Southern Mississippi. Mississippi auditor Shad White said, here's the best part, Favre's daughter played volleyball at the school starting in 2017. That's the end of that article. This is wild. The Rhaka Khan thing to me was a joke. And that's just her trying to get a bag. These dudes were clearly getting a bag off the poor hands of these people who really need it, right? Welfare is set in order in our country so the poor can survive and have a cost of living, right? Enough for a cost of living in order to buy groceries, pay bills, and live, have a good quality of life. And here goes these rich dudes, Brett Favre's and the DiBiase's and all these other people, taking money that they were supposed to use to help those people. And what that say? He bought a boat, he bought a house, and a car with some of that money. So
and they sent their brother to rehab.
And sent their brother to rehab. So Vern, your take on that?
My take on it is I hope that justice is served, and I do hope that this is not one of those cases of where if you steal a bunch of money, you just have to pay some of that money back and you get to avoid jail time. So yeah. I hope that it's not one of those cases, and it's one of those where they seize all your assets and tell you owe this money back, but you can't pay us back with the stuff we've already taken from you. So, I hope they enjoy working for 12 cents a day or whatever the state does, where they garnish that and you only make 4 cents out of the 12 you make or something like that.
Sure. Yep.
Because truthfully, it's the unfortunate world of white collar crime, and it sucks. And shout out to that movie you put out, Ted. Really saw the light, didn't you, brother? The Price of Fame. Shout out to you.
The Price of Fame. You got it.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
It's only cheating if you get caught. So,
and they got caught.
They got caught.
They thought they was Eddie Guerrero. They thought they was Eddie Guerrero and got caught, brother.
Oh, my heart goes out to the families that really needed that money and never got it.
That's the part that sucks to me.
The part that's annoying, where you hear about welfare and tax cheats, etc. And however you feel about it, right? It's like,
and I bet you they're still gonna say
there's a couple of million that didn't go to anybody,
right?
But some rich dudes to just do what they wanted with it. So,
and the crappy thing is they're gonna say that they didn't do nothing wrong, and
they're gonna pay the best lawyers to make sure. I mean, listen to that
victimless crime. They didn't really hurt anybody directly. They indirectly hurt people, and they're sorry.
My brother needed rehab.
Oh, okay, I want to read this part over again. I'm gonna pop it on the screen real quick. Remember, I was making a face. I was making a face when I was reading the lawyer quote, right? As much as every one of us have the right to decide for ourselves whether our government is effective or prudent in the way it carries out its functions, criminalizing what, in hindsight, may be fairly characterized as poor fiscal management by the executive branch of state government is a dangerous and worrisome precedent. Is he trying to put the blame on the people that handed out that money? That's what he's saying, right?
It's not their fault.
In a lawyer jargon way, in layman's terms, I'm talking. He's saying, bro, it's not my fault. Y'all gave me the money and didn't check.
It's your fault because you have a flaw in the system I was able to do it. So if anything, you should be mad at yourselves because you enabled me to do it.
How wild is that? How wild is that to even think that way? But I mean, lawyers are nasty. No, I've been telling my peoples. I've been watching a lot of true crime documentaries on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of it. A lot of interrogations and then court stuff. I've just been on a binge for at least a few weeks. And some of these lawyers that defend these criminals that do wild crimes, I'm like, how do you take that case as a person with morals? How do you go, oh yeah, he might have butchered a bunch of women, but I gotta defend this man. He wasn't in his right mind. That's what it was.
Money talk.
He was crazy.
Money talk.
It's all about the dollar, bro.
Get that payday.
It's just
because they're like at that point they know they're gonna lose. As long as they got that money coming in, like
right, they're still getting a check. Getting a check. It just bugs me out. So, like you said, I agree, Shay. What is your final take? Because Vern had his already. He was just
awful. Like, yeah, it's awful. Like karma's gonna get them if it never really has. So, like,
I hope so.
I always believe that karma's
karma's a B. Karma's a bad woman. But no, I agree. I hope justice is served. Ted,
I was about to say it sucks. Ted DiBiase of all people, like, come on. Like,
the man with the $1 million man gimmick is out here doing fraudulent stuff and is late in his years.
And honestly, the sheer gall of Priceless, really.
The name of it, calling it Priceless, like, bro,
killing me.
You're awful. You're awful.
Priceless. Ooh, daddy, I'm priceless.
Daddy, I'm priceless.
Priceless.
I might end the audio podcast with that song instead of our normal guitar. Priceless. All right, off of the legal stuff. I'm glad we got that out of the way. 30 minutes. We're out of the way there. Actually, it only took about 20. Let's move on to. We spoke about this last time we were with you, Shay. So this is why I wanted to bring it up again. We were talking about all in Wembley Stadium. I think we all had a consensus. We said they're probably going to sell 30, 35,000. If they get to 50, it's a win, right? That's what can we all agree? That's what we said, Vern?
Oh, yeah.
We were like
30, 50, I think the consensus was 50, actually. I was like, we all pretty much were like saying we're going to get
50. I thought we were all saying like 50,000 is like, okay, that's the W. They definitely did it. They did more than enough. Because I think you said it, Vern. You were like, if they sell more than half of the seats, then they're good to go. They don't have to worry about anything else. So I got this article. It's from Forbes. I got some legitimate sites today, Vern. I don't know. This doesn't happen all the time. This comes from Alfred Kanua and his
shout out to Big Alfred. Shout out to the big homie.
It says contributor. And it says, I write about men in tights and the money they make from the men in suits. I like that.
His channel's pretty entertaining.
Yo, his YouTube channel is he's got great comedy. Smart guy.
I've never heard of him, so that's cool. That's cool. I'm glad y'all know who it is.
We always actually put it in the group chat sometimes. You might see, you don't click the links, you jerk.
I don't always click the links.
Barry's TK, so funny.
I just wanted to show.
TK is so real.
Him and TK have heat.
TK is that the same dude that went at him with Twitter? Is that the same guy?
Yes.
Yep.
The one that used to work.
Tony Twitter Fingers. He calls him Tony Twitter Fingers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is great right here. This picture that he chose.
Oh, he gets at Tony all day. He has no fear about getting at Tony all day.
So all right, let's talk about
he writes for Forbes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
that's also the other favorite part when people try to bag on him about like you're just a carny, and it's like,
I write for Forbes.
I got a legit job. Like,
I write for Forbes. What are you talking about?
I work for Forbes to talk pro wrestling. Like,
right. Okay, so this was on May 5th. He says AEW All In explodes to over 60,000 tickets sold at Wembley Stadium.
Oh.
I'm reading a lot of articles today. Sheesh. AEW All In continues to inch toward history as AEW looks to disrupt the wrestling business just like its spiritual predecessor All In 2018. First day pre-sales produced a gigantic 36,000 tickets sold, and that number later ballooned to 50,000 as of Thursday. This looks like a quote tweet. Thanks to the amazing support from our fans, hashtag AEW All In London at Wembley Stadium just hit 50,000 tickets sold for a £5.2 million, $6.5 million. That's a weird sentence. Jesus. Remarkably, all 50K tickets sold have been in the pre-sale. The general ticket on sale begins tomorrow with great seats opening up. I could tell this is Tony Khan. AEW President Khan tweeted after a successful second day of pre-sales. Khan later updated the count to 60,000 tickets sold as the live gate increased to 7.7 million. Friday marked the first day of general sales, with AEW already more than doubling its record for most tickets sold for a live show, in addition to record-breaking metrics in live gate revenue. Tony Khan's last update was 50K sold. With today's sales, I believe that number will be well above 60K, wrote the WrestleTix Twitter account Friday morning. They said we couldn't do it. This is another quote. They said we couldn't do it, and yet here we are at 60,000 tickets sold. Is he talking about us? We said he couldn't do it. Does he listen to the pay window, Vern, like you said? Say Tony be listening.
Yeah, I do. Listen, I feel like someday we're gonna make some spicy comment, and he'll definitely add us.
He's gonna be typing away
and be like, "Oh, no one listens to your podcast anyway, you marks." And he'll definitely
tag team on Collision. Come on, man.
Listen, Shay's trying to get a booking.
The manager, Vernon Somoza. Let's do it.
Yeah. Hey, we're a whole act, Tony. If you're watching, we're a whole act, brother.
I'm just saying.
All right, let me read this. They said we couldn't do it, and yet here we are at 60,000 tickets sold by the first day of general sales. AEW has created a monster, and I plan to lead the charge. See you in August, Wembley Stadium. Oh, that was Jericho. Chris Jericho wrote on Instagram. All right, here we go. This is what I wanted to point out. I wanted to go on this Twitter of WrestleTix because I feel like, Vern, we've been debating the seating chart.
Yeah.
That's been our big debate, okay? So this is why I wanted to pull this. I sent this to you earlier because I was like, I want to use it for the show.
Yeah, this is now apparently the new official seating chart put out, which
okay. So I just want to read what he's got here. The all-in ticket map. This is from WrestleTix on same day, May 5th, 12 p.m. All-in ticket map is up, and many of you have asked about an update regarding today's general public on sale. I'm still working through it, but here's what I have right now. Available tickets, 6,129. You chuckling, Vern? You good?
Yeah, go ahead. I just have a take after all this. Go
okay.
ahead.
What I read it out is what I believe hasn't opened yet. So what he means by read it out is for the audio listener, he has a seating chart and there's some parts that are just blocked off in red is what he's talking about. Tony Khan's last update was 50K sold. With today's sales, I believe that number to be well above 60K. If you have seats with any of the red lines, please let me know. More to come. So here is perfect. So this is his take on how the stadium will be set up. I guess this is what they were showing on Ticketmaster, right? Because I think some of his this is straight from Ticketmaster. So, I mean, it's set up pretty much how it was for SummerSlam. Am I bugging? It's almost the same setup, right? Except for the spots he has red, which is in this area here, which looks like the 200 section, the 500 section, and the mid 100 sections. That's got to be at least for what, 70,000, Vern? Would you say close to 70,000? I would say that. Yeah. And again, here I'm scrolling through. Looks like a lot of the seats that are available are nosebleed sections, which will probably cost people a couple $100 still to go there. I don't know the exact.
I doubt
it. Purple it's bought already and it's resale, isn't it? When you get purple on Ticketmaster. Purple dots, somebody bought it, but they're reselling them. So there's clusters of seats, it looks like, on the nosebleeds that are that way. Say it again.
I didn't even know that about the purple dot.
Yeah, I buy tickets on Ticketmaster all the time. So I know when I see the purple, I stay away from it because usually it's scalpers trying to just get their money up. So looks like a lot of that. And then I saw this on the same day. He goes, they've just opened up, he being WrestleTix, pronouns, pal.
Pronouns, pal.
They've just opened up the rest of the stadium. The uppers that were previously closed are partially open, as seen in the second screenshot. The 200s behind the hard cam are also partially open. This definitely helps clear up some questions I had. More to come. So if everything's open now, they're expecting to get damn near 90,000 in there. Am I right?
Yeah.
So again, and this is straight from Ticketmaster. This header here is straight from Ticketmaster. See that Shay right here? See the purple or the pink resale. So that's how you know. everything's open now. And I'm guessing, I mean, they're not sure if you're going to be able to buy from here, but I'm sure eventually if they keep selling it like they do, they're going to possibly sell out Wembley Stadium. So, Vern, you had a interesting take. Now that I've showed all the evidence, whatever you want to call it, let me know your take on it, brother.
Well, no, not so much a take, but in just like, well, the whole pre-sale, right? So like they've been, it's good. Either way, it's good. The ticket sales, right? The large ticket sales so far, it's great. No matter what.
It's good for business.
If tickets were $1, great.
Yeah.
Just sell them. Yeah. Point of the show being you want the place to look full, right?
That's right.
But a few things to keep in mind. One, it's not the same Wembley Stadium it was back in 92. It's a completely different stadium than it was back in 92 when the WWF was there.
Okay. Just
for people just to keep it in mind, right? Yeah. The other thing, right, about the gate.
It was 30-something years ago.
Correct. And everybody talking about, it's, they gross 5 million pounds, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is also Tony Khan reporting all his own facts.
Yes.
Like that's the one thing, that's the only thing I wanted to say is just keeping in mind about the shows and about everything that's said about the show, right? That it hasn't profited. It's just what was to say? They've sold 5 million worth of tickets, sure. But they still got to pay for the rent of the place. They've still got to pay for the employees. They've got to pay for all that stuff first. Like the fact that before any of the show has even started, etc., it's like, oh my God, this is the moment. And it's like, but hold on, guys. It's not the moment yet. Like this
is just revenue.
Yeah, this is just the start of the whole thing.
It's not expenses yet.
Correct. Who knows?
You got to fly everybody there. Sorry to cut you off.
And we know Tony pays for flights.
Yep.
He pays for hotels, and he pays for good hotels. He said it himself. Yep. He pays for the good hotels, and he gives his crew gets to eat good.
So is he renting multiple private jets to send the entire roster back over there, or the guys he needs for the pay-per-view? I mean, that's probably the most feasible way, right?
Sure.
Whenever they
I'm positive we're going to hear stories about somebody did an indie show and like so and they got a personal jet to fly them out. I'm sure we're going to hear somebody.
Jericho's going to have his own jet. Jericho's going to have his own
something ridiculous. Yeah, but
well, go ahead. Continue what you were saying. Sorry to cut you off.
So no. But just to say, just to keep that in mind with all this with Tony Khan, it's like the whole excitement about this is just weird because it's like. So majority of tickets that got sold are resellers. Are people who are going to sit on them and hope the cash in because somebody's going to want to sit front row, etc. There's a novelty to this. It's the first time AEW is going out there. It's I think it's weird, that some people are crapping on this because they want them to fail. Because it's like, why would you want it to fail?
No, but absolutely not.
Then there's also like another side that's like, oh my God, great. But it's like,
slow down.
Let's wait till the thing is gone. Because at the moment, I think it would do well if you book the bum fights in the main event because it's just the spectacle. It's wrestling AEW the first time. This huge.
There's no card announced. There's no main event. They're about to have their pay-per-view run along NXT Battleground in about 18 days.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is they still have. They have something in July, I'm guessing, like a Forbidden Door or something, right? They're not going to go May to August, no pay-per-view in America, would they? Well, Revolution was February, right?
Well, but it's so All In. Who said All In is a pay-per-view?
It's going to be, don't you think? They're not going to run it. It's on August 27th.
It hasn't been announced. They've not announced any sort of watching or streaming of it.
It's August 27th on a Sunday.
Uh-huh.
It's going to be a pay-per-view.
But why haven't they announced it as a pay-per-view?
Why would they have to?
Have they said can you pre-order it on Fight?
Would they be able to run that now when they're about to run Double or Nothing?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think it's gonna. I'm not sure. I'm not sure it's gonna be a pay-per-view.
It'll be. Shay, do you think it'll be a pay-per-view?
Yeah.
It'll be a pay-per-view.
You don't think it's going to be like the what was it, like the New Japan shows where they're going to film it to tape and they're going to sell it?
No.
So you think Tony would allow that bag to disappear, his buy rate, for all the English fans that didn't get to watch that, for all the American fans? I'm sorry. For all the American fans?
No. I'm not disputing. I'm just saying, why haven't they announced that as a pay-per-view yet? Why haven't they announced it?
I don't think
all we've announced is a live show.
Okay, I understand that. Now that's what something that the E would do because the E's a well-oiled machine, and the E knows what they're doing. They know as soon as you announce something like we're going to Puerto Rico, we're going to Wales, right? We're going to Detroit. It's freaking. It was April. They're talking about we're going to be in Detroit for SummerSlam. This is our pay-per-view. Tony. I don't know if Tony's trying to slowly matriculate information to people, but he said buy our tickets first. All right. Once I'm sure if he sells out, he'll say the only way you can now watch this is on pay-per-view. Maybe that's what he's trying to hold close to his chest. That's how I look at it. If you don't think it'll be a pay-per-view, you're bugging. You're bugging.
I think this. Look, I just think the whole Warner Brothers deal that now that Dark and Elevation are off YouTube, and
they're off. They're done. Yeah, they're done.
They're done. And all things allegedly, all reports are saying that all things AEW can only be streamed on Warner property. I don't know. I think this might be.
So where's Double or Nothing going to be? Where's Double or Nothing going to be?
Oh, that's going to be a pay-per-view because that's been announced as a pay-per-view. All I'm saying is you don't think this might be recorded for like a special for their new streaming platform or whatever?
You don't think it would be what streaming platform? Max? Because it's no longer going to be HBO Max, right?
I don't know. That's what's coming out, right? Isn't that the new thing is going to be Max?
Nah, Max is done here.
No, it's going to be called. It's going to be called just Max though. It's going to be called. Isn't it just called Max now?
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah, it's just called Max.
I knew they were ending like
Paramount and HBO Max combined. It's just called Max.
Well, I'm trying to get something.
I bought that year-long sub, and I was like, man, I don't know. Does that include does that mean I get the 4K content? That's the
HBO Max is just becoming Max. That's what it is.
Yeah, because it's combining with Paramount.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah,
because the Paramount Plus app is trash. I had it for a free year with T-Mobile, and it was basura.
Well, I know, but not get sidetracked. Apparently, we're going to get grandfathered in, right? I'm getting grandfathered in with that deal I got where I bought the year, but I'm not sure if I get the plan with the best streaming or if I get the one below it. So I was kind of concerned about that. So we'll see.
The price, peek behind the curtain.
They're doing the Netflix thing. They're doing the Netflix thing where if you want to watch the movie in 4K, give us more money, which is so annoying. God.
Yeah, that's why. Annoying. Yeah, that's why I have mine in standard in regular HD. I'm cool. I got 4K TVs. I don't need to pay $20-something for Netflix now. I'm cool. They're already taking $16 from me. I'm all right. I'm all right, bro.
Anyway,
they know that's the wave of the future, so they're just trying to cash in now. You know how that goes.
So you guys don't think there's a possibility? So you guys don't think there's any possibility this show could be like an exclusive film for some exclusive streaming thing?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
I just think it's weird. That's all. I just posit. Right?
I get you.
We're here just musing, and I just posit that I think it's weird that nothing's been announced as a pay-per-view yet. That it's not been announced on Fight. As I think they're going to announce this as the first show as some kind of streaming platform exclusive. That's my prediction.
So, if that's the case, he has 3 months and 16 days to make some kind of announcement like that. So, going by what you're saying,
I think the death of the YouTube show is very telling. That's all. I think the death of the YouTube,
going by
new collision.
Well, that's on television. That's going to be on television as well. They're saying TNT Saturday nights 8 to 10. We said that, right? TNT Saturday nights 8 to 10 because they're going to have Dynamite on Wednesday. They'll have Rampage on Friday, and then they'll have Collision on Saturday.
Rampage is going to be the new Dark.
Yeah, clearly.
It isn't already.
Well.
It's more like a Sunday Night Heat.
It all depends on when they start filming Rampage.
It does. Because it depends how hot the crowd is. Because if they film it and the crowd's dying at that point, yeah.
Because what they do now for Dark is they film it, not Dark. What they do for Rampage is they film it after Dynamite.
Yeah, Elevation used to be filmed before the show.
So you went to an AEW show and you got 5 hours of wrestling, something like that, or 4 hours of wrestling.
6 sometimes.
6, because you get because Dark Elevation was 2 hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, Dark Elevation was 1 hour. Dark was the 2-hour one. Elevation was one. Dark Elevation was 1 hour.
2 hours of Dynamite and then 1 hour of Rampage. So 4 hours. You got 4 hours of wrestling. Jesus. Go
ahead. What I was going to say about the attendance.
Yeah, sure.
Is if you remember last time I was saying how I figured they were going to get something big, only because like I mentioned like TNA going out there and being how popular they were when they ran out there before.
Yes, they were over.
Wrestling is so like big time wrestling like WWE or anything like that. They don't get that often. So like when it's going out there, people are gonna go.
Look at Puerto Rico. Look at Puerto Rico this past weekend.
I can't wait to talk about that show.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about it in about an hour, and it was insane. It was absolutely insane.
That crowd made it, man.
The crowd made the show, but we'll talk about that in a bit. So yes, no shit, that makes total sense. That because it's a show that's happening away from America, that people can't just be like, oh, I want to go to a house show that's 20 minutes down the road. They can't do that like we can. So this is special to them more than it is to us.
It's almost like a once in a lifetime for some of those people.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. And the fact that it's a first ever for this company makes it more memorable for the fan. Hey, I went to the first ever All In at Wembley Stadium. There was 90 some odd thousand people. Did my computer just reset? There's 90,000 people there. It was insane.
And for some of the wrestlers, I think for some of the this is for some of those wrestlers, this is going to be the peak of their career. They're never going to have a moment like this. For some of those wrestlers, that the show that did in Queens was the highest moment that they're ever going to reach. You know, MSG, that's the highest peak of their career. So I hope they have fun. They enjoy it.
Here's my question to y'all. What is the main event of All In 2023? Let's just start early.
MJF and Goldberg. I have no idea.
Shay, you said MJF Sting.
At first, I thought so, but
do you want to change that? What you got?
Oh, I have no idea.
I'm gonna say CM Punk Chris Jericho.
Main event, not the title. You think it'll be a Punk Jericho match?
Now,
I forgot. I forgot about MJF. I'm sorry. I forgot about MJF.
Retain?
Yeah.
Does he retain or does he lose?
When? Depending on who he's in this 4 Pillars match?
No. At All In. Like, do you do like a big, like first time big babyface title win at the big show?
If the rumors are true to me, I think we're going to have another summer of MJF and CM Punk. If the rumors are true and CM Punk will be back next month,
that's what they were building to anyways, originally.
Yes. So I think we get MJF versus CM Punk at All In Wembley Stadium, because CM Punk, as much as people
draw.
say it, he's the top draw for them. First $1 million gate when they were there, right?
And let me just say, just sidetrack real quick.
Sure.
If all these things are on the internet is true about them not wanting to work with each other, like whoever had that brawl, dumbest thing in the world. Like, you're just leaving money on the table.
Is it them or is it one camp? Because if all internet rumors are true, it's one specific camp who may or may not be located out of Rancho Cucamonga, California.
They can't manage a target.
That couldn't manage a target and started a company in a VFW hall that
put your big boy pants on, work
and do business. And apparently the alleged Canadian contingent was like, he's cool with it. So it's like, it's just the tag team from Reseda. Get over it. Move on.
I look at that part like, okay, Vern, we played football together, right? We played football together, Vern, in school. Did we like every single person on that football team? Nope. We didn't get along with all the dudes that were on the football team.
Nope.
But the thing was, we were all a team and we were looking to win games. And that was it. Whether we liked each other or not, we knew when we got on that field, it was all about the red and white and winning games, right? Mm-hmm. And that's all that mattered. So if they can't swallow their pride after the nonsense they had because somebody called them out on their BS, right? And it turned into a brawl. And now y'all have a chance to make big dollars. Everybody has a chance to make big dollars.
That would be my main event right there.
I'm with you.
That would be my main event for that big show.
What you got? What's your main event?
Me?
Event? Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Main event. He said that would be your main event. What would it be?
It would be CM Punk and whoever against Omega and the Young Bucks. I feel like that would be the right thing to do.
So
business wise, if everybody got
is Punk and FTR, right?
Yes.
Punk and FTR.
Yeah.
Omega and the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good match to have on there. I don't know if that's your main event though. It all depends on the story.
You would have
and
to
you
build
know
it
who we're
right.
talking
Yeah,
about.
you would have to build it
But
right.
we know who we're talking about, Shay.
Exactly.
We're talking about AEW. Okay,
But
unless
Punk, anything Punk was involved though, Punk's hand, you could always see Punk's hand in his stuff though.
all right,
Because
but
Punk
now,
has to be main event. Because who else would not be like? Who else would be main event right now? That's on their TV.
But Punk had willing partners, right? Are these guys going to be willing to listen to whatever Punk has to offer as far as storylines?
Empty-headed dumb F's like.
Or are they gonna Or are they gonna worry about their egos, like who we were talking about off air, Vern, earlier today?
Yeah,
remember what we was talking about. So are they gonna talk like, I don't want to drop the belt for you, I don't want to do business with you, but you can work for this company?
Oh,
or
the guy that they idolized?
Super kick.
That's a interesting take, man.
So I don't know.
Needs to be a boss and not be a friend. Like,
now, what's your main event, Vern?
Man, I had not considered. I'll be honest with you, I hadn't considered if MJF is still on top.
I think he will be. 3 months from now.
Him and you know what? I'm just gonna throw this out there, just randomly. It'll never happen, but why not? Because it'd be a match that I think would grab headlines. What if we go with Shay's idea? CM Punk and a tag partner of his, right? What if his tag partner is MJF? What if that's the MJF that moment? What if it's CM Punk and MJF versus the Bucks for that main event?
Just a straight up tag team match?
A tag team match. What if that is that moment? Because you have to, because I rumors, you said the rumors of getting Punk and MJF back together, right? Because that was the idea. So what if that's the big moment and MJF is who MJF we know he is, and he turns on Punk, whatever, and that sets off the summer of MJF and Punk for the rest of the foreseeable future.
Okay, so I wrote it down. Shay, you were saying Punk in the tag team we were choosing. I said more than likely FTR.
Yeah,
versus the Elite.
The six way, yeah. And I think so too. I mean, I think realistically that the trios match would be best booked, but
you're going Punk MJF versus the Bucks. I like yours because it's unpredictable. It still has your world champion in the main event and probably an opponent of his in the future, and it still has the real life heat between Punk and the Bucks.
And
I like it.
Bring that edginess of real life heat.
Yeah. I don't mind that one. And mine is traditional straight up 1v1 because I'm boring. Punk versus MJF in the main event for the title. So I don't know. I like it. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? Say it again.
Do they put the belt on Punk again? Because it's gonna happen, right?
Yes.
It's gonna happen.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Even to have him hobble down the ring in a wheelchair.
Now, this is the important thing.
Broken leg.
AEW. So this show has So I don't know how to word this, but this has to be like a turning point for them because in the States they're not drawing good at all.
Oh, you think it has to be like a watershed moment? It has to be a watershed moment.
So so it's like, okay, you drew good in England, you drew whatever 60, 70,000 fans, but then you come back here and there's still 3,000 people barely filling out arenas again. So what does that really mean in the long run?
Now they're going to be at the Garden, right? Shay, you shared that with us. They're going to be at the Garden right a month before this in July. And the Garden is like a 17,000 seat arena.
And they go from McGannis to the Garden. So let's see
I saw that today and I was like, they're going from. I kind of want to go just to see.
I want to go. I
want to see how they try to fill that place.
I've been to a show. I told you I went to a show early on. So you guys should definitely go to a show.
I'm thinking we should go in July, Shay. That we should.
But then again, it's also wrestling in New England, so I'm pretty sure they're going to do decent. But 17,
they're not filling it up. Okay, we went to. No, I don't think you went with me. We went to Raw. And saw it at the Garden. I went to a house show at the Garden, and it wasn't filled. Like the rafters weren't filled, but it was a pretty filled up arena. I would say at least 10,000 people were there. That was the night the Rock showed up. Say it again.
Yep. So you're pretty much the dunk crowd was in the.
Yeah, it was like a Dunkin' Donuts crowd and the Dunkin' Donuts Center crowd in the Garden. It was like 10 to 12,000 at least. There were a lot of seats open up top, but the place was still filled. the Garden is a big place for AEW to run a TV show because they don't usually fill it out. But they might, you don't know, because look at what they do with Arthur Ashe. Look what they do when they go to Chicago, right? So maybe Boston will be a good enough market for them.
And it's another one of those first times in a new arena. Like,
people like firsts. Everybody likes
do
first,
well with first times. Yeah, no, they do well with first times.
And Arthur Ashe, I always like how Arthur Ashe looks on TV for them. That like Coliseum look, where it's all down, because they fill the whole arena. They don't do their traditional way of cutting off half the arena, and they film strategically so you don't ever see that, but the pictures always pop up on Twitter. Like, you can't do that at the Garden because that's going to look awful. Even though the seats aren't yellow anymore, it's going to look awful. So that's what I'm wondering. So no, I agree with you on that one. It's definitely a turning point for them. Like, this is a make or break. I think we said that the last time we talked about it. It's a make or break.
It's not though. But it is, but it's not. It's a make and break. It's a make and break for us as fans who like to talk about it. But as a casual fan, it'll just be Hogan winning the belt and then turning babyface, and then a heel in the beginning promo, and then when he comes out for the match at Bound for Glory, he rips off the shirt and he's back to red and yellow. And at the end of the night, he's teaming up with Sting. It's just that. It's just like, we'll just go back and we'll just get this thing back on track, brother, and we'll turn the nose up on this thing and
dial it in.
That's it. But that's what it is. Like, Tony is ultimately the Hogan joke of like, oh, we'll just dial it back. Like, when in doubt, just start the story over again.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter if they sell out every ticket and they're hanging from the rafters, great. But
good for
and they
wrestling. Hired
the new guy, Will Washington. How do you think, Shay? How do you feel about that? Is you who are a guy who's plugged into the IWC? What does Will Washington like? That because that I saw that Sweet Daddy Dave was not happy.
I don't know who Will
Washington is at all.
I have no idea who he is.
He's from Bleacher Report.
He works for Fightful. No. He's a writer at Fightful.
No idea.
No, Fightful or Wrestling Inc. I'm sorry. No, he worked with Sean Ross Sapp. Who's Sean Ross Sapp?
That's
okay. So he's at Fightful. He was at Fightful. And he was a writer for them, and apparently he was a pretty good dude. Everything I've read about him said he wasn't problematic, wasn't one of these like hyper fans, etc. And he's been hired as long-term storyteller.
With live events, social media, creative, PR.
So Tony Khan is for, as far as we know, and you pointed it out tonight, by the way. You pointed out, remember when you said about the finish, about the heel going over tonight, that you're noticing all of a sudden we're getting different
heels are starting to go over on main events, yes.
And we've also had moments where we've had guys look at each other to have subtlety of just staring at each other backwards. So do you think that this means something's going to change now? Because now Tony Khan has literally, we now know the truth that there is going to be somebody new and creative. Do you see this as Will Washington's moment to come out and his creative to bloom? Or do you think
I seen a video talking about him.
Please.
Jim Cornette was talking about it on his podcast. I seen on YouTube.
I haven't heard
where they read up on him.
Saw it.
Yeah, they read up on him, and I guess the way they explained him was he's a longtime observer reader, and he's a message board fan. Exactly, and then that's how they explained him. Like they were reading off something, I forget, off an interview.
But why was Dave so bitter then? Because all the posts I've seen in the basement about it, Dave is spitting hot fire towards the guy.
There was one of Dave's boys has been campaigning for a job, and Dave said, "Oh, he's a decent hire, but blah blah blah. So and so would be better at this and that and this and that."
Compliment. Yep, that's what it is.
So they said he was a long time observer reader, and he was big on the on the message boards. Was two of the biggest
that's why Tony likes him. Okay,
two of the biggest takeaways. Yep.
Okay. And I bet you he is making millions of dollars right now to do that position.
You know what?
Or hundreds of thousands of dollars.
While you guys bring up this, I'll
not a publicly traded company, so it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. You can't tell you.
Tony doesn't have to tell us anything.
There's no way some guy who listened to the dirt sheets is helping write TV now.
Yes, he is.
We're living in an era where every fan, literally anyone can do it.
So how come I'm not booked to run a show, bro? I want to do it.
Oh, man, what a random tangent, because you said Cornette. Cornette on his podcast argued about Bad Bunny. He made a side comment, just real quick, was just like, Bad Bunny, him going over a wrestler, just
Wait a
it
minute,
just means
save
anyone
that.
can do it.
Save
I don't know,
that.
no, but what
Save
I'm
that
saying
for when we
is,
do Backlash.
but that's not the point. I want to focus on that. But just the idea of saying like, anyone can do it. I'm like,
No.
we kind of live in an era when it kind of like, yeah, that's the point. Anyone can do it. Like, we've literally seen people without limbs who do it. Like,
yeah, anyone can do it, yes, but can anyone do it as successfully as what some of these guys are doing? Not everybody can do what Logan Paul's doing. Not everyone can do what Bad Bunny's doing.
No, can anyone do the physicality of it?
I laugh at that statement from like an old school guy like Jim Cornette saying, "Oh, anybody," because I'm like, that was even the case back then because they had all these people like the job guys.
Who are guys you picked up at the gas station? It's like, yo, brother, here's
so
a pair
it's
of
like
boots.
that argument's always been so dumb to me, yo. Like,
because it's always existed. Now,
you just have to smarten them up. That's the difference.
And now you know where to go for school. Now it's not just, hey, brother, look, for a little pizze, I'll hook you up with my boy Shizze, right? Like now it's like you don't gotta do all that garbage. Now it's just kind of like, yeah, go to a school, get training.
Yeah, you can get smartened up anywhere you like now. You have multiple places to get smartened up, even in New England alone.
Yeah, just that right? Because when I heard him say that phrase, I was just like, dude, no way. I'm sorry. Like that argument just seems silly now. Like at this point in the game, it seems ridiculous.
Cornette, I'll always be a Cornette fan, but
I'm a faithful member of the cult.
But it's because he's just entertaining. But a lot of his takes, I'm like, bro, just stop. Like, just shut up. Like
his take on Backlash. I was sitting there arguing. I was telling Frank because I was texting Frank going, "Hey Frank, what do you think about this?" Because I'm like, these takes are feeling weird to me now. Now it's just like you're just getting mad to get mad. It's now just feels like you're over at it. The draft.
You wrestled Ninja Turtles, man. Like, come on,
bro. But the draft, the part of the draft where he was like, you didn't pick all the best people. And I'm just like, did you expect this to be the NFL rules for the draft?
We're going to talk about the draft too in a little bit, actually.
It's a television. Like at some point, you still have to walk away going, it's a television show.
Mm-hmm.
Stop fooling each other. It's not a television show. It is.
All right, let's wrap up. Let's wrap up the tickets.
All right, cool. But that was just a random tangent on that. I wanted to get on that. Yeah,
that's fine. But yeah,
that's about this whole nonsense. Thing. I hope they sell tickets. Great, sell more.
Like we said it. We hope they sell out. I hope they do. We didn't think it was possible.
All I care is day of. Do all those people show up to sit in the seats? Or are we just gonna have bald patches left and right, like that Rihanna concert where like you sold all those tickets, but it didn't look good on camera?
Hopefully, we shall see. All right, let's move on. Vern, your favorite wrestler. We're gonna talk about your man Scripps. You ready?
Lucha de Apuesta. Let's go.
Oh my God. This is from the first dirt sheet side of the night, buddy. This comes from Fightful.com. This was written by Robert DeFelice on May 2nd. Scripps unmasked on 5/2 WWE NXT was actually Reggie all along.
Yeah.
What? It was Reggie? No.
But they didn't say that on TV. I told you. Did you watch it?
I have a clip that I'll play because it comes from Twitter, and you know they don't come for us when it's on Twitter.
Yeah, they did. They didn't. I don't recall them unless they did, and I didn't catch it. But I right, they were. They're like,
really
oh my God,
did you see that? You know who that is? And then it cut, and it went right to commercial.
All right, it wasn't just me because I said it to Frank. I was like, I'm almost positive they don't even say who it was.
They never showed his face.
It was like, if you know who it is, you know who it is, and if not.
The kids don't, but you know.
So show us this finish of this Máscara de Apuesta.
Let me read this real quick, and then I'll show you. Okay,
announce it correctly though.
Scripps has been unmasked, and the truth has been revealed to the world. Oh my God! Scripps arrived in WWE NXT at the end of 2022 with cryptic messages seemingly coming from a tortured soul. Throughout his time in NXT, Scripps showcased some flashy athleticism and even picked up a win over Ikemen Jiro in his debut match. I'm already getting upset with this article.
Where is Ikemen? Did he get
jacket
drafted?
time?
He didn't get drafted.
Of course, he didn't get drafted.
Released. Sorry.
Shoot.
I'm waiting for those. Can we just say we're due
It's
for
coming.
a healthy set
It's
of
coming.
releases.
Oh, it's coming. You know it.
I can't wait to
Month or
April
two.
passed and we had nothing in
this
April
new
yet.
crop
I'm
of
surprised.
DLC, this new crop of AW DLC. I can't wait for this new
Yeah.
DLC to come out.
All right. Scripps eventually targeted Axiom, promising to unmask him and show the world what Axiom is hiding. When the two met in the ring on May 2nd, there were no masks on the line. Vern, you want me to read that
What?
again?
It wasn't
Yep.
Lucha del
When the
Puesto?
two
No, it
met in the
wasn't.
ring on May 2nd, there were no masks on the line, but it was Scripps'
so
own
funny.
bravado that would expose to the world who he truly is. There's no way people read this like, oh, God. After Axiom defeated his rival, he picked him up off the mat and extended his hand in friendship. Scripps responded violently, so Axiom gave him a receipt, dropped him to the mat, and unmasked him, showing the world that it was former WWE 24/7 champion Reggie who was under the mask all along. Are you ready, Vern?
I thought it was our truth.
Hey, that's got to be racist. All right, here we go, y'all. You ready?
Yo, shout out to Axiom though. Low-key, one of my favorites.
This guy has been doing
Axiom's
his thing.
been
I've been
killing.
enjoying him.
Axiom's been killing. And what's funny, Vern, when we were talking about Scripps when we first started with him, which is why I brought him back, you were sitting here trying to be like, oh, you got to give it time. They're going to get the gear right. They got to do this. And I said, they got to wait.
They'd never turn the nose up on that thing,
when you got a guy that looks like Axiom, and then you got a dude who looks like Scripps, who looked like he made his gear off of tablecloths.
Okay. Yo, did he get pudgy, or is it just me that he got pudgy?
I think he's always been pudgy.
Reggie's always been pudgy. He's always worn outfits.
I always thought he had a smaller frame.
He always had a shirt on.
Really?
And the suit jacket. He always had one of those, or vest underneath. Okay, ready? Here we go.
I thought this was a Lucha del Puesta, and this was him being upset. I promise you, this is mask versus mask. Because this is a Mexico spot. That's why I was like, oh, it's mask versus mask.
Scripps has been exposed.
They covered his face with the logo.
Scripps has been exposed, y'all.
And they didn't even hear the end of it.
What else he saying?
He was like, "Oh, did you see who that was?
Yeah,
you know who that was." And then it
commercial. Yeah, I told you they literally cliffhanger you, and it was like
Scripps has been exposed. That's
man,
it.
I legitimately thought that was a mask versus mask. I was like, that's why I kept texting that, like, "Oh, Lucha del Puesta, holy cow!" I was like,
that would have made sense, though. That would have made sense.
Shout out to you, Sean.
That should have been on Spring Breaking, brother, or the next big NXT freemium live event. But they just said, dude, you got to get rid of this mask, brother. It's not working.
They just said, that's
what
weird.
Do you mean?
I thought that they have a director of creative down there, but I guess we'll just ignore that too, huh?
That's a director of creative. That means there's a team that he directs.
Oh, okay. So he approved that, huh? But we'll look the other way though. You know, it'll just be
all I'm gonna say, Shay, right now. The disdain that Vernon Somoza has for Michael Sean Hickenbottom is crazy, Shay.
Why?
Yo,
I don't.
Hold on. Wait a second. We'll let Vern explain it. Maybe if we have time at the end of the show.
Okay.
We'll try to get there because we're almost at the other spot. Maybe at the end of this show, I'm gonna make a mental note
or off air. I'll tell you off air. No, because it's just
off air.
Yeah, it's fine. It's I don't want to waste time with
the story
that.
of Brooks and Jensen or whatever has become my favorite NXT story of
yes.
all year.
Yes.
We talked about that on last episode.
Oh my gosh, yes.
She's like, I never loved you.
Did you watch their match with those two young kids this week?
I did.
I didn't watch NXT this
where
week.
They went just 4 minutes, just stiffing the hell out of each other.
Okay, wait. Did Braun wear? I heard Braun was in trunks. I've not seen a picture. Is this true?
Braun Breaker?
Yeah, he was in trunks.
Nah, he had his singlet straps down.
Oh yeah, singlet straps down.
I thought someone said he was in trunks. I was like, what?
He worked Trick Williams, who actually looked better than he did before. So
Trick Williams had an actual match. Grown on you?
Yeah. Yes. No, he has.
Has Von Wagner not grown on you?
Von Wagner just entertaining to watch just because
Von Wagner has grown on me. You know who's been growing on me too? Frank's favorite small-shouldered wrestler. I don't know what I'm enjoying him more and more the more I see him.
You talking about my guy Dijak?
Yo, he's growing on me, bro.
I like Dijak.
Oh, like Dijak.
Yeah, I always liked him. It's my guy.
Dijak, I wasn't
yo.
a fan of it, but Dijak's been growing on me.
Yeah, he's escaped from New York. Escaped from New York
Nah,
escaped from
he's
LA. Escaped
Sylvester
from LA.
Stallone and Cobra.
Oh my god, yeah, true. I like whenever they like he comes out the prison bars, the prison bars, they close in on him. I love that. I always like that idea. NXT's doing good stuff. I can't wait to see the new NXT now because a lot of people done left. We're going to talk about that, I think.
We'll get to the
right
draft. Yeah.
Now we're going to talk about it right now. So we're at the draft, y'all.
Vamos.
We're at the draft. We're doing good on time. Minute 15. So I'm going to read the results. I'll go day by day. We'll do it like that. So we'll do the day 1, day 2, and we'll do the rounds and stuff like that. I just want to say,
I'll be right back.
All right, do your thing. I just want to say, Vern, as far as call-ups.
Mute your mic, Shay.
Yeah, right? I got him. I can mute him. I got him muted. Jesus Christ, Shay, what's wrong with you, dude? So let me get the draft results up while I do this. So as far as call-ups, we were kind of close on this.
Yeah.
We both called Braun Breaker. We were completely wrong on that. He's not going up yet. What do you think of that?
I'm loving it because I've texted you guys. We're watching Braun work heel live in front of our eyes.
Yep.
And I'm here for it. When Braun cut that promo 3 weeks ago, where he called all the fans rednecks and he said, "Hey, bunch of rednecks," and he just did that bark and he had like that gruff, that like. I was like,
I listened to our podcast today, just trying to recap what we talked about. And the first thing I thought of, and I don't know why I didn't think about it when we were doing it last time, was "Get my bags, redneck."
yes.
I forgot about that, but it triggered as soon as you said it.
Yes, he had
Scott Steiner to a T.
He had
bro.
that same energy the other day where he just came out and he said, "Look, all you fat rednecks," I died because I'm like, you know what? You never,
that's Uncle Scott.
Silly as it is, you never hear anyone use just normal, just insults. People.
Nobody does that anymore.
Rednecks, you idiots, and that isn't outside of an indie show. Let me say that outside of your typical,
I mean, especially in WWE, they don't really have to insult the crowd in that way.
Correct, or not be Bailey, just being like, I guess not where they don't feel like they're playing along.
Yes,
it's not like, "Hey, you idiots." Boo.
Yeah.
You right. This just felt like I'm gonna heal the crowd. And he just came out and just started going. And so it feels great. And honestly, I want to watch Braun spear people from now until I don't want it to stop.
You talking about that springboard spear?
Springboard? No, we were just talking about Braun, period.
We were just talking about Braun, period. When he came out and cut that redneck promo like 2 weeks ago, when he called the crowd a bunch of rednecks.
You got to watch Carmelo went for a springboard, and he caught him in midair with a spear. It was insane.
Oh, yeah. Oh, on the match they had. Yeah.
Wait, they had a match already? Oh, you're talking about from their match. Okay.
Yeah,
so
they win the belt.
We were talking about call-ups.
Title, excuse me, the title.
Yep. We were talking about call-ups. We both said Braun Breaker. We were wrong. We thought that for sure.
Yeah, but and we agreed that I'm loving heel Braun and us watching Braun work heel live in front of our eyes.
You know, Michael Hickenbottom books that, right?
His favorite.
I'm just saying that anytime anything's bad, I'm just glad we can always overlook it because, you know, it's our guy.
Save it. You save that. All right. You called Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
And you also said Cora Jade. And
didn't do it.
I think we both said Pretty Deadly, but I only put it up on mine. Yeah, but I think I remember saying Pretty Deadly. It was obvious. We love the fact that they came up. I called Grayson Waller. I thought that was a dark horse, and Grayson's already up. So let's talk about this draft really quick. So night 1 was on SmackDown, which was April 28th. These are now in effect because everything was going to start on Monday night after Backlash. What happened on night 1? Hold on. So there were 4 rounds in night 1 of SmackDown. They tell you they had WWE Hall of Famers, Triple H announcing the picks. Second round picks were by Van Dam and Michael P.S. Hayes. Doot. Third round was by JBL and Teddy Long. Holla holla player. What was his dance? It was the hands, right?
Yep.
Holla holla player.
The hands.
Bouncing the knees.
Yeah, that's right. And The fourth was by Shawn Michaels and Road Dogg Jesse James. All right. So the first round was by SmackDown. Now I'm going to just read them out. I'm going to read them out now so we can get them out the way instead of us talking about every single one. First round went to SmackDown, the first pick overall. They drafted Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman, the Bloodline. Raw drafted with the second pick, Cody Rhodes. Excuse me. With the third pick, SmackDown drafted Bianca Belair. And with the fourth pick in the first round, Raw drafted Becky Lynch. Second round. Wait, am I reading that right? Okay, yeah. They got like round, brand pick, overall pick. Like these people are sweaty on Wikipedia. Second round, SmackDown selected the Street Profits. Raw selected Imperium. SmackDown selected Edge. And then Raw selected Matt Riddle. In the third round, SmackDown selected Bobby Lashley. Raw selected Drew McIntyre. SmackDown selected the OC, which is AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Michin Miyim. Raw selected The Miz. Fourth round, SmackDown selected Damage Control of Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. Raw selected Shinsuke Nakamura, not to be confused with Thin Shay Nakamura. SmackDown selected Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. You don't know who Thin Shay Nakamura is, Vern? You made that face. It's Shay from like a few years ago.
From 2015.
Yeah, Thin Shay Nakamura. That's what I call him.
10 years ago.
Yeah, Thin Shay Nakamura. And Raw selected Indy Hartwell. Those were two NXT people that were selected towards the end of that. So after Raw went off the air, actually the next day? Can't be. So I thought SmackDown Lowdown was right after SmackDown, no? Or is that Talking Smack?
Talking Smack.
I think Talking Smack's over.
Oh, there's no. I think it's.
So what's SmackDown Lowdown? It says April 29th, but isn't that the
whatever the show is? Yeah, they have like a post show.
Yeah, it's a post show. That's what it was. There was supplemental picks.
Mm-hmm.
Raw selected Apollo Crews. They selected Candice LeRae, Chelsea Green, Sonya Deville, Dexter Lumis. SmackDown selected. If you guys want to, I don't know if you guys want to look along. I know Vern, you can get it. You can get it off our board there. Shay, I'm sending it to you in the private chat. Boom, there you go.
Got it.
SmackDown selected Hit Row, which is Ashante the Adonis, B-Fab, and Top Dollar. Raw selected JD McDonough, which is also from NXT. SmackDown selected Lacey Evans. Raw selected my boys, MMM, Marseille, Mansois, and Maxine, the Maximum Male Models. Raw selected Natalia. Raw also selected the Viking Raiders. And Raw selected your pick, Vern, Zoe Stark. So you notice in the supplemental picks, a lot went to Raw because they have the 3-hour show. They need more workers, which makes sense. They had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 of the 11 supplemental picks. So as you guys are looking on, we're here with this first night. What sticks out to you, Shay? Let's start with you.
Of the first night?
Yep, first night and the supplemental. You got to scroll.
Of course, the Bloodline going first and Cody going first. The first 2 picks.
So what sticks out to you about that? Let's see if it's the same thing.
Nah, I just figured that they just showed who the top guys are. To pay attention going forward.
Sure. Does anything strike you weird about that? About Cody being split from Roman?
No. I think they're just gonna give it time.
Okay.
Instead of going right back to it.
Okay.
Let it breathe. Let them do what they have to do before coming back.
Okay.
Right. But looking at this, it was cool that they gave the moment to Albert Fire and Isla Dawn and Indy Hartwell on TV getting drafted as champs. On top of it, that was pretty cool.
Yep.
But other than that, nah.
Nothing else really sticks out.
I think it's about average.
Yeah.
As I expected.
What about you, Vern?
You know what? I think that what struck out to me. I mean, honestly, a lot of the moves felt like most of these people work those shows anyway. You generally associated them with these shows anyway.
So if you look, sorry to cut you off, but if you look at this Wikipedia, you see pre-draft brand, post-draft brand. A lot of them were already on the show they got drafted on. So
they really only moved a few major players. This, I mean, if I could just spoiler alert, if I could just say overall, I just feel like this draft sifted through WWE and in terms was like, okay, we're just going to really redraw the lines. And it really felt like they freshened up NXT. They called up a crop of like the stars who were ready.
Mhm.
They made SmackDown younger and kind of stripped SmackDown of a lot of like, because SmackDown's been killing the ratings, right? So SmackDown didn't really need much. So you didn't really need to add a ton of wrestlers to the card. It's
Mhm.
only a 2-hour show.
Mhm.
And so it felt like they stripped SmackDown down and kind of just added a lot of youth and people who could benefit from it. And Raw feels like they just said, all right, Raw, it's time to stack Raw. And I think there's going to be some interesting stuff going forward with Endeavor being in control. I think some interesting stuff's going to happen with that third hour. If all the rumors are true that they're toying about having the third hour be like back to the old school.
You said
Raw
TV
War
14.
hour?
You mentioned
Yeah.
it. You mentioned it. Warzone.
Excuse me, the Warzone hour. Yeah.
Yeah, you
So
mentioned
that
that
could be
last
cool
show.
because they've been saying that last hour is the death hour. So
Mhm.
I
if you
do
could
like
draw
how
interest back.
they further like subtly, very subtle, teased or played the bloodline angle with the bloodline only being Roman, Solo, and Paul.
While
and
the
leaving
Usos
out of that.
were left behind, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and
So
they
I do
teased it
like,
they made them think for a weekend.
and it's not like they made it a big thing. Like, oh, why are they like getting? No, they're getting drafted
That's how the
separately.
draft
Like,
works, right?
instead of like making a big thing about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm looking here, and I'm gonna piggyback off of what you said, Vern. And I think Shay said it too. They realigned everything. That's let me be honest. That's all this draft is.
Yeah.
It's a fancy way of drawing a line in the middle and saying, I need you guys on this show. I need you guys on this show.
Yep.
I know you said something about Cornette trying to be like, it needs to be more legitimate. That's nonsense. It is a TV show about a work sport. It doesn't need to be, you don't need a legitimate draft.
And it's given the different audiences that watch different shows, different flavors.
It's giving them fresh new
that's all it is.
stories.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Yep.
So I look at it.
There was a lot of the complaints of it were just like, oh, the rules and etc. It's like, who is giving it this?
It's
much
a work.
thought, y'all? You're
It's a
giving
work.
It's
It's a work. Like, relax, right?
It's a fake draft. Like, end of the day, it's a fake draft. They all work for the
They
same
all work
company.
for the same company. Right.
And it's not like they have two different GMs anymore to play off
Right.
that.
They literally just had legends come out and announce it. Like, it's a work.
How'd you feel about that? Did you feel it was like the Oscars almost? Like, it was weird. No, it was like the Oscars of just having
like the Slammies or something.
Well, but in a way, because wasn't this more like, yo, who works for us?
Yeah.
All right, we got y'all are legends, right? Yeah. All right, get dressed.
Yeah, come on, get dressed, put a suit on. We need y'all to come out real quick.
I do miss though. So I love Adam Pearce has been the GM without being the GM. Like,
what do they call him? They call him something else. Official, WWE official.
Yeah, I do wish they had one set for each brand though, because I feel like you could do the same thing without having them be GMs, like, and going that angle again. But you could have that head like official running each like brand.
Well, if it was like a year ago, it could have been like him and Sonya, because that's what they would have done. Yeah.
But that rumor was right. The rumor was that Sonya was like, I still got mad career left. I'm not trying to hang it up to be a GM. Which is wild to think that you'd be like, I want to go back to the ring versus I'm cool with just taking bumps being a GM.
Do you think it had to do with that whole court thing that she had to deal with?
Probably.
With
well, yes, everything. Yeah, everything about it.
I figured
that time she took off was all like
because they probably didn't want her to be on the road and stuff like that because of that stuff. So that makes sense. All right. So what I was gonna say, the major differences I see here is with the major players. So Bianca moving from Raw to SmackDown.
Yep.
Street Profits moving from Raw to SmackDown. Imperium going from SmackDown to Raw. Edge going from Raw to SmackDown. Lashley, same thing, Raw to SmackDown. Drew McIntyre flipping to Raw. They moved AJ Styles over, Damage Control over. Shinsuke comes on this end to SmackDown, and then you got some NXT people. So
Shinsuke comes to Raw.
I'm sorry, Shinsuke comes to Raw. I'm sorry, I'm looking at it backwards.
No, I got you.
But thank you. That's pretty much what this first day was. It's like, all right, let's take some of the major people that have been on TV a lot and have been seen on this one show, and let's put them on the other show to see how they work out on what we call the A show of SmackDown. That's what it is, the A show of SmackDown, and see if these guys that have been on the A show of SmackDown can make Raw a better B show to make it an A- show. What's up?
Do you think that this is perhaps their way of trying to make Raw once more its A show and realign itself to like try to push Raw to be that A show once more?
Well, isn't there a rumor?
maybe-
Sorry, hold on, Shay.
Yeah.
Isn't there a rumor that NBC wants Raw? Or NBC wants SmackDown? Was it that? I can't remember.
I've never heard that.
I believe it. I saw something somewhere. I can't remember. It's probably
Okay.
one of the sheet sites that NBC was looking to nab. I believe SmackDown because the buying options are coming up soon. The contract with Fox will be up. Maybe it was NBC for SmackDown. I could be bugging, but go ahead. Go ahead, Shay.
But maybe like making them more on par with each other instead of just like Raw necessarily being the A show. Maybe making it more exciting to get the ratings up there with SmackDown. Maybe
the first problem is it's 3 hours.
Yes,
That's the first problem, and they
That's
can't
never
turn
gonna
back.
end, though, unfortunately.
They can't turn
They'll
back.
never
now.
not be 3 hours. Yeah,
Right, because it won't look good for Raw to be like, we're going back to 2 hours. Why are you gonna what? Why are you losing an hour of television?
You're giving us less product now, like
right. So now it's like they can never jump back from it. When they first went to 3 hours, I said, man, this is too much. This is already too much. You're giving us too much. That's a pay-per-view. You're giving us a pay-per-view every Monday. We don't need that. I love SmackDown because before you know it, the show's over and it leaves you wanting more. With the 3 hours, I'm sometimes sitting there 9:30, 9:45, I'm drifting.
Yeah.
And then I wake up and the main event either passed and some Surviving Alaska show's on or Miz and Maurice is on when I wake up. And I'm like, damn it, I missed the main event.
Miz and Maurice is goated.
I think that's the only issue with it. So yeah, no, I don't know if you guys have anything else to say. I can move on to night 2. So
You can move on.
all right. So night 2 was on Monday. Not Monday, this past Monday, but Monday before Backlash. There were 6 rounds in night 2. It had Triple H again announcing the first round picks. Booker T and Queen Sharmell announcing round 2. Michaels back to announce round 3. 4 was by Bischoff and Rob Van Dam. 5 was by Bischoff. 5 was by Molly Holly and Road Dogg Jesse James. And the 6th round was by JBL and Teddy Long. Holla player. Oh, yeah, that's right. It was supposed to be by Adam Pearce, but then Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes started getting it in, and things go crazy. Had to go break up that fight. Okay, so the first pick of the second night, we had Raw draft Rhea Ripley. We had SmackDown draft Austin Theory. Raw drafted Seth freaking Rollins. And then SmackDown draft Charlotte Flair. Raw drafted the tag team champions, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens in the second round. Usos stayed on SmackDown. Judgment Day stayed on Raw. Latino World Order stayed on SmackDown. I think you guys are kind of seeing why I'm saying that. Liv Morgan went from SmackDown to Raw. She gets drafted by Raw. Asuka goes from Raw to SmackDown. New Day gets drafted by Raw. The Brawling Brutes stay on SmackDown. Raw drafts Trish Stratus in the 4th round. SmackDown drafts Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Raw drafts Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. SmackDown drafts LA Knight. Where we at here? Raw drafts Braun Strowman and Ricochet. So it doesn't seem like that's not stopping for a while.
Yep. Which is good.
SmackDown drafts Shotzi. Yeah. SmackDown drafts Shotzi. Raw drafts Bronson Reed. SmackDown, and this is in the 5th round. I'm sorry. SmackDown gets Pretty Deadly in the last pick of the 5th round. The 6th round, Raw gets Alpha Academy. SmackDown gets Rich Boogs. I call him Team KC. Team KC comes up to Raw. And then Cameron Grimes to the moon goes to SmackDown. Supplemental picks include Raw picking up Akira Tozawa, Dana Brooke, Emma, Indashir, Johnny Gargano, Los Lotharios, Nikki Cross, Odyssey Jones, Piper Niven, Riddick Moss, Tegan Knox, and Xia Li. SmackDown gets Grayson Waller and Tamina. So let me go first on this. Actually, no, Vern, you go ahead. You go ahead on this one because Shay went first on the other one, and I'll just be moderator. Go ahead.
I think this. So I liked round 2 of the draft better than I did like night 2 of it.
Yeah,
because night 2 felt like this is the new generation of stars.
Okay.
Right. Night 1 was this is our current crop of established. These are our And this felt like this is the next set, right?
Yeah.
Rhea Ripley, Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Charlotte Flair, the Usos, Judgment Day, LWO, the loser world order.
Because all they do is lose.
That's it. All they do is put other people over. The curse of being good workers, you put other people over.
Huh?
The curse of being a good hand.
Me and Shay have been there.
Yo, man, them boys, whatchamacallit? Toro and Wild. Shout out to them boys, yo. Cruz del Toro and Wild. They've been
they do great.
Great hands.
Is what it is. Yeah.
So I like this round better because I felt like this round was a showcase of just this is like that other side of WWE, right? This is that other part of them that isn't necessarily the biggest. This is the mid card.
Yeah.
And they've got a healthy. I feel like WWE has one of the healthiest mid cards, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many times did I talk about Alpha Academy being my favorite heel team to just if you're like I feel like they're that team that you're like, oh man, we got some extra time on the card. What do we do? Send it Alpha Academy.
And what's cool is out there.
And you can split them and put them in singles matches, and they'll still do fine.
Still works,
especially Gable, because Gable's
Gable's
okay.
Gable's
my
fantastic.
favorite
Shorty
storyline
G.
throughout. Can we just say the favorite storyline throughout? What was your favorite storyline throughout the draft? Did you have a favorite storyline that you recall through the draft? Can I say mine was Otis? Otis.
I didn't get to watch the draft live.
Oh man, Otis.
Okay.
The little bit. Did you see Otis when him and Maxine when it was like, is he going to get drafted? Are they going to Raw, SmackDown, and would he be a member of Maximum Male Models, or they draft him with Alpha Academy? And your man Otis was just like, oh yeah. When they said going to Maximum Male Models, and he was like, oh yeah. I was dying, yo. Otis. For whatever
I've been trying to get Frank on the Otis train, yo.
Bro, he has.
Frank won't go on the Otis train.
I know he doesn't like him. But he's got this weird charisma about him.
Hold on.
Please. He's entertaining, yo.
The character is entertaining. Okay, I'll give him that. That's all I'm giving him. Okay,
I don't care about when the bell rings, yo. If he's entertaining me, he's entertaining me. All right,
that's all that matters.
And he's not a bad hand. He's better than Bronson Reed. He's not a bad hand.
As a big, really, you don't like his big man work?
I don't like Bronson.
No. You didn't think Bronson? Can we talk about the pay-per-view real quick? Or you didn't think?
No, we're going to.
He showed out. He showed out.
Okay, hold on, guys.
Right.
Hold on.
Right.
We'll get there. Right. We'll get there in about probably like 10 minutes. Let's talk about the draft. Let's end off the draft.
All right. So finishing up the draft, I liked it. I think this, like I said, I thought the supplemental draft really just showed you that there's depth to WWE roster. It showed you that there is a lot of possibilities that you got. A lot of young guys got called up. My favorite pick, the one that sticks out to me, Grayson Waller.
Yep.
Grayson Waller's the one that
SmackDown. To SmackDown.
Yo, Grayson Waller, LA Knight is either a tag team I didn't know I wanted, or the feud of two people who are so similar you think these guys are going to hate each other in real life. Backstage, they're going to be like, yo, that piece of garbage. Like, they're going to hate each other.
So different. Like,
yes.
So it could be either money or we're all going to say, oh, that was a bowl and shoe ugly. It's either bowling, right? Like, I feel like that's one of two extremes. Either going to be bowl and shoe ugly or a match made in heaven.
Yeah. I was going to say the fact that they put him on SmackDown shows
it's telling
that they think highly of him to be like, hey, let's put him on the A show. We got some ideas for this kid.
They put me on SmackDown.
Pretty deadly with money behind him. Pretty deadly with all this, with national TV behind him.
I need Pretty Deadly and Maximum Male Models on screen together.
But they're not going to be. One's on Raw. One's on Raw. One's on SmackDown. So before I let you run with it, Shay, I will mention this afterwards. I just want to point out this draft, this round, this night seemed to keep a lot of the guys on their same brand. But the ones that pop out are big, like Austin Theory moving to the A show on SmackDown. Let's see, what's another one here?
Trish Stratus being drafted was
Trish Stratus was a weird one.
Was a weird one.
Yeah.
What are they planning? Why put her in this draft? You know, because usually
and to put her so low as well. Like, wouldn't that be like a big name that you like that people would be like, oh
yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. It has to be for a reason. It has to be for a reason. Or maybe it was just all right. We need a name to put in there. I put Trish in there. Who knows?
Yeah.
I feel like Trish was filler.
So Ronda and Shayna Baszler are on Raw, right? They're on Raw now. Is that where the tag team champions are?
I think they said tag team champs going to appear on both brands
For the for the ladies.
For both, I think, for both tag titles.
Okay, I'm trying to find where they got drafted.
Because that I like actually.
Raquel and
Ronda's really in it for the long haul, huh? I thought Ronda would have been done by now.
I think this is her last hurrah. I could have sworn that it was. Like, she wants to do the tag, and
what else is she really going to do though?
She's done everything. Okay, Liv Morgan and Raquel got drafted to Raw as well. It seems like, from what I'm seeing, the ladies tag teams are all on Raw. Katana Chance, Kaden Carter. You've got Ronda and Shayna. Yep. You've got Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez. The supplemental draft had Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville going to Raw. So it seems like they're building the female tag team division on Raw.
Makes sense. Third hour.
They have more. And how often now do we see the women working in that third hour, whether it be the main event or just having matches in that third hour? So
and we got to get them ready for the return of Monet and
Trinity.
Trinity. Just Trinity.
My lie. But yeah, I'm starting to notice that.
Did you see the ratings on that return?
Wait, it happened already? I thought it was this Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, it's already happened. No, it was last Thursday.
Oh, I need to see it. Trinity and Impact you're talking about?
I'm glad you will. Apparently nobody tuned in for that.
So I was gonna say,
let's go back to the draft. Go ahead, Shay.
I'm glad she got her bag, but I'm just saying nobody tuned in for it.
Raw has set itself. They have set Raw up with a good mid card like scene,
yes,
and a good main event scene.
Agreed.
And this is what. So Frank hates two top titles. I always loved it because I feel like that just gives guys more chances to stick out and reach that upper echelon where they're seen on that level for the future. I always loved it.
Yeah. I always like one champion. I get why they have to do the World Heavyweight Championship. My man, Roman, he's got the stranglehold on the top belts, and it's not going anywhere anytime.
But like the thing is, to me, like their roster is so big now.
Yeah.
Like there has been that one title just doesn't cut it anymore.
So in comparison, right? AEW has a million belts. We did this count before, Vern. I don't remember. We did this count, I think, when All Atlantic Championship popped up. I think, Shay, you were with us on that show. I think that you were on. I think he was. I don't remember. But we did a count of how many belts they had. And it was a ridiculous amount for one major TV show. Raw and SmackDown are treated as two different entities. So they each need their own separate amount of titles. So it makes sense, but I like Shay says, I've always been a guy that's always liked one title. I've always
the way I look at it, it's like
business-wise,
it's merch.
Yeah. And well, in each company, but you figure each network's like, yeah, I want a world champ on my channel. If you're gonna, if I'm paying you for content, I need world champ.
And I look at it too, like roster-wise, like Roman, Cody, right? Let me see, Roman, Cody, freaking Bobby Lashley, Drew, AJ Styles. Okay, you have all these guys competing for like one title, right? Like, let's say that's your main event scene. What are you gonna do with the rest of them?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with the rest of them? Like, you have that big, like, deep of a roster at that point.
It's harder to write stories not around the titles nowadays. So I get it.
Especially with guys coming up, like, for example, Dominic, like Finn. You know what I mean?
No, I totally get it. Anything? Did we go to you, Vern? I'm sorry. Did we go to you about this night?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
I started off.
You started off. I just wanted to make sure I didn't skip you.
Are you gonna bring up the other part of the draft?
Yeah, the free agents.
Okay.
Oh, the free agents. Yeah, I was going to that now, and then we can go to Backlash. Okay, so free agents. I want y'all takes on this one. It doesn't matter who starts here. So free agents: Baron Corbin, Brock Lesnar, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin, Dolph Ziggler, Elias, Mustafa Ali, Omos with MVP, Von Wagner, Zion Quinn. Are all considered free agents. There also is a list here that I like that whoever sweated this out and did this on Wikipedia. These were wrestlers not included in either draft pool. Alexa Bliss, Aaliyah, Big E, Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy, Carmella, Gable Steveson, Logan Paul, R-Truth, Randy Orton, Robert Roode, Shanky, and Tommaso Ciampa. Now, I just want to address the not included. A lot of those people are on an injured list.
Yep.
or just not working. Like Alexa Bliss had the skin cancer treatment. I think Aaliyah's been injured for a minute. No, when after she dropped the belts, did she get hurt?
Riding horses all the time on Instagram.
You really watching her horse content on Instagram? You just want to see you deviant. Big E neck injury hasn't worked. Bray Wyatt, they said he had some illness. Carmella's pregnant. Gable Steveson was hurt for a while, but now it says he's training for the Olympics. Logan Paul's a part-timer. Oh, but Logan Paul here, it says free agent. It doesn't say a brand specifically. But Logan Paul is, whenever they want something big, they use Logan Paul.
Yep.
R-Truth is R-Truth in all honesty, but it says he had a torn quad.
Yeah,
but
remember? Tore it on NXT.
His dive. Yeah, his dive to the outside.
Remember the dive he did? And he did it against Grayson Waller. He went to dive on Grayson.
And they just ended the match.
And he tore it mid-quad.
Oh, yeah. November 1st, 2022. NXT.
I'm pretty sure we all were watching that because we all freaked out.
Randy Orton in his back, been out for a minute. It's almost been a year for Randy. Holy.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby Roode with the neck surgery. Shanky. Yep. Shanky needs to go down back to NXT anyway. They need to figure it out.
He needs to go be AEW's next superstar.
Satnam Singh and Shanky.
Yep.
Shanky Singh. And then Ciampa. Ciampa's been out for a while too. He was like, I feel like he was featured prominently in the early Triple H booking, and then he got hurt, right? And he had to sit out. So let's talk about these free agents. Talk to me all about these free agents. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Okay, you can go for it.
No, go ahead.
Oh, all right. So I see this as enhancement talent when they need enhancement talent.
Like
other
Ziggler.
than Omos and Brock. Clearly.
Yep. Omos and Brock, they can put wherever on it. And I like that idea.
And same thing with Baron, because I feel like Baron they could put into like a mini feud with somebody that needs to get over. They could just have him run them against them.
So,
but everybody else, they're just gonna be enhancement guys, I feel like.
So do you remember when Baron Corbin first came on the main roster? Do you remember how they were having him violate Dolph Ziggler every week?
Yep.
Do you feel like he's now going to be Dolph Ziggler?
Probably
putting all these guys over.
Yo,
I just thought of that right now.
France freaking give Baron Corbin his respect that he deserves. God damn it! All right.
Wait, oh God, you
didn't see Baron's freaking standing ovation?
No, what
in France? What? They gave everyone.
Oh, I did see that. I saw that.
No, they gave Baron Corbin a standing ovation. Get it right.
They sang Seth's song. They sang Seth's song for like 12 minutes without stopping. It was some crazy.
Is that why his entrance is like that now, where they stop and it's the spotlight?
The crowd, 12 minutes they serenaded Seth with the song.
That's insane. What do you think about these free agents, Vern? Talk to me.
The only one I'm looking at that sticks out to me, I agree with everything Shay said, so I won't repeat it.
Yeah.
But Gable Steveson, all the dirt sheet rumors about Gable were just that Gable wasn't getting it, and that he decided to take his ball and go home because they were just
is that what it is?
Yo, his brother's
good.
Has his brother not grown on you?
Yeah, I like Damon Kemp.
Damon Kemp, at first, Damon to me was just like, oh, he plays the worst slimy heel. He's starting to finally get how to be a slimy heel without trying so hard to be a slimy heel. And be like,
so you're telling me
I kick puppies and I hate people. Like, it was like, work on that. I'm digging him now. The other day when he was like, oh, bro, what are you trying to turn on me? He was like trying to get heat with me or something. I was like, wait, what? He's dropping insider lingo in the middle of an NXT promo. I was with it, man.
So you're telling me
he was doing all right.
Gable Steveson has not grasped the game.
From all signs say that he's not Kurt Angle. The way they built him up, he was next Kurt.
I feel like exactly. A quote I seen was that he wasn't lighting the world on fire. Is a quote that I always see over and over about him.
Yep. I find it's hard to believe that a guy who does Olympic wrestling has trouble grasping professional wrestling.
But the Kurt thing made sense. The thing you pointed out, Kurt thing made sense about how do you let somebody through your entire life?
You're not supposed to be on your back,
throwing you on your back.
But I'm just saying that because usually people, and not just Kurt, it's not just Kurt. Most guys, like a Ziggler, amateur wrestling background. He was what state champ. There's a lot of guys who did amateur wrestling
Who pick it up quick.
who pick it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I
Shelton
thought,
Benjamin.
okay, wasn't Dr. Death an Olympic wrestler too? He did amateur wrestling, didn't he?
Yep.
So it's like
Bob Roop,
Sheldon, Charlie Haas as well, Brock. They catch on.
The list goes on. Yeah.
You just have to get the mindset of, okay, I'm giving up my body as opposed to I don't want to give up my body. If you go from resistance to allowing these things to happen to you. And once that clicks, usually you're good. So you're telling me Gable can't?
I wonder if that has to do with being a younger guy, like different generations, where like the work ethic is just probably not there compared to like what it was back then, and then wanting to make it in a way.
Wow.
Yo, same thing with your boy, the homie from what's his name? The kid who's in AEW, Baby Brock.
Parker Boudreaux.
Yeah, Parker Boudreaux.
They gave him the boot immediately, huh?
They gave him the boot because it was the same write-up, same talk was him that he just wasn't lighting the world and there wasn't nothing there.
Wow.
It's hard to argue it now.
Wow.
The dude's online hawking $400 sweaters for random Instagram influencers. That's what he does.
And it's
now.
crazy because he got it says it here. Stevenson was drafted to Raw in the 2021 draft.
Yep. It was a big deal.
3 years ago. So he's been training.
Shay, do you remember like the dirt sheets talk about it? That he was working out at the center and that they got him at Stanford, that they were putting a ring back for him. And
really?
He was
I didn't see that.
Oh my God, I bet there's all a bunch of crap written about him that he was working out with Dr. Tom and that all them dudes that they brought in all the dudes.
Dr. Tom's still training?
I believe it.
Doc's his own school.
Him and Kane
have their own school. Yeah. But I'd read something that he had gone on a doc that they'd sent him places. But that's why the report of him not working out is shocking because it's like, wow, it doesn't sound like they haven't tried.
That's what bugs my head out because I just expected amateur wrestler, good at Olympic wrestling. Guys usually grasp that stuff. They're good to go. But wow. Anything about the free agent NXT guys, Von Wagner and Zion Quinn?
I'm excited for Von Wagner. Zion Quinn. I think Zion Quinn's not long for this world.
Yep, I agree.
His career is not long.
They tried pushing death on somebody.
Yeah, I know. I was like, the way I said it, I was like, oh, I don't want him to die. His career isn't long.
They tried giving him that little rub on NXT at first, and it just did not work out.
Yeah, I never looked like $1 million.
What happened to the Spanish cat who used to wear the jean jacket? I feel like he was on TV twice with that gimmick, and he's disappeared.
Okay.
He was
doing. Is he the one that used to bump for him?
Yeah, the pretty boy used to bump for Zion Quinn. What happened to him?
They probably said, "Hey, we need a new gimmick,
Reeves,
brother."
Right?
Let me see. Let me go to Zion.
Conor Reeves is working at. I just seen something about him that he's working at Universal Studios now.
Oh, Zion Quinn used to be a rugby player.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Zion Quinn has the look.
Yeah.
Look in here.
Is it the homie that came that he's an imported wrestler? Yeah. He was like a football player or something. Zion Quinn.
Rugby.
Yeah, he was a rugby player. I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to see who you're talking about, but is it Boa? No, Boa was the other guy, the Chinese wrestler.
Was it not Conor Reeves?
Maybe it is Conor Reeves. Okay.
Maybe it was. I'm not seeing a name here, so you might be correct.
Rao Rujas, whatever his name was. Whatever happened to the MMA guy?
The bald dude.
Was that his name? Remember the dude who used to do
Capoeira,
like
or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah, yeah. Listen, they probably got released too, bro. In all honesty, he's probably
there's a guy. I'm like, how come I didn't hear about his release? When did he get released?
All right. Anything to touch on overall about the draft before we move on?
Let me give it a double check. I'm good.
You know what? I think that I'll say this. For the many podcasts I listened to, the many reports I read, don't take it so serious, guys. This wasn't the NFL. These aren't the energy you bring to this. Remember, it is pro wrestling. At the end of the day, it is still men wearing costumes, simulating fighting that hurts. And it is as that Kurt. It is. What was the phrase, Franny? What was the phrase on that TikTok that you said that it is
self-mutilation.
Self-mutilation.
Yep.
Two things.
Shoot.
I want to. Okay. One thing is them splitting up Ray and Dominic.
Okay, again, right, keeping
Again,
them off.
right.
keeping them
Oh
off
yes,
toes, yeah.
that's the one thing we didn't bring up. Yes, the splitting up Frey and Dominic, and splitting up the blood, splitting up the Usos and Sammy and Kevin, getting all that,
Yep.
like getting those
Yep, they
gimmicks away
put
from
those
each other.
guys to Raw and they put them on
Yeah.
Kevin on SmackDown.
Three things
Yeah.
actually. Trying to keep Karrion Kross on SmackDown, trying to make him a thing still. It's just isn't gonna work out.
How did you feel about Karen and Shinsuke? Franny didn't like it. How'd you like?
It was all Shinsuke. Karrion's moves like molasses, yo.
But you didn't like the physicality. You think they were pretty physical with each other?
No,
Really?
No. Everything Karrion does, a killer or whatever, everything he does is not believable to me. Like he just
Can we stop talking about him?
everything he does just doesn't look like he.
What was the magic with him and Lucha Underground that everybody
There
tells
was
me
no
that he was
magic.
just killer?
Everybody was just a Lucha Underground mark.
And they try to put him over big on NXT, and I watched him and I saw him standing next to Adam Cole.
Awful.
And I said, he's not as big as people make him seem to be. You're trying to build him as a monster.
Yeah.
Then he's going to come up to the main roster and stand next to Bobby Lashley and not look like anything special. And then he came up with that stupid X on his chest, and he wasn't anything special. Yeah, then you bring him back to work Drew, and then what? Now what?
Exactly. And also Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville are killing it. Okay, that's it.
They're doing a great job. I like Chelsea Green. And
Yo,
Sonya
the other
Deville.
night,
Good team.
I laughed out
Karens.
loud when they were like, this is Save the World or something. And then a second later, this is to like help people who need help, all right? And I was like, shout out to y'all. Just to help
Just
people
making
that
it
need
up.
help.
Are they like a less annoying, better version of the Iconics?
Better? I love the Iconics.
I love the Iconics too, but what got them over as heels were them being obnoxious, like
The
just
accents
loud and
helped.
obnoxious. Yeah, the accents helped too, but they were loud and obnoxious.
They understood the energy they brought to the room and weren't
Right.
afraid to fully embrace it.
I feel like Sonya and
They're good
help me out here,
characters.
Chelsea Green,
Yes.
they can talk you into hating them. They
Chelsea
sound like
Green
Karens.
and Chelsea Green has always been a character, like worker.
Yeah.
Like with everything she's done.
I didn't know Chelsea Green, honestly. Until...
I don't care about what Chelsea Green does in the ring. She doesn't have to
Yeah.
work in the
No.
ring at all.
But like
Yeah,
character
she-
work, she's always gone in like 100%.
I didn't know
Mhm.
that. Yeah, I didn't know that about
You don't
her.
remember
She had
her,
some like a
the
scorned
bride
wedding
or whatever?
bride
Yeah.
or something
Nope.
gimmick where she used to. That was Impact. That was Impact, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was a
Yeah,
whole wedding
so-
thing where
It was pandemic wrestling?
no before that.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah,
I
the
wasn't,
whole-
I wasn't doing
You gotta watch the
pandemic
wedding
wrestling.
segment. She kills it because the whole wedding thing goes down and she's just there drinking wine, going insane, and that's what flipped the script to her
Mhm.
going like crazy. Okay,
Really?
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay,
Was that the no? I'm thinking of Madison Rain. I was like, that was the Killer Queen thing, but that was Madison
No,
Rain.
Killer Queen's Madison Rain.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
a killer queen. Okay, let's move on.
That's the beautiful people. Okay,
Let's go. Let's go to Puerto Rico. All right, guys, we are here. San Juan,
My
Puerto
friend.
Rico, at
San
Coliseo.
El
El
de Puerto Rico.
Coliseo con mi gente.
So the attendance. Oh, is that now the highest? Nope. The attendance. Go ahead.
can you after compare this Puerto Rico card to the last pay per view they were at, New Year's Resolution 05?
That was in Puerto Rico.
Yep, that was the last
They
time because
talked about it a lot.
Holy Jesus! Wow.
It was the
card-
show that Balboni wanted to go to as a kid, but he didn't go to because he was too young.
that card is awful.
And now
okay.
look
Sure,
at
we
him.
can do that.
Look who they gave Puerto Rico last time. And I
Okay.
think Carlito got hurt like right before.
Send
they
me
went
that in the private chat, so I don't have to go
Yep.
hunting for it.
there. Got
All
it.
right. So as you know, Vern, I'm gonna run through the card and we're gonna talk about what we liked and what we didn't like, stuff like that. Okay. So May 6, 2023 was WWE's Backlash. It was in San Juan, Puerto Rico at El Coliseo. And let's see, for the card, it was a 7-match card. Decent card. No WWE Universal
Oh, shit. Oh, sorry.
Champion. I don't even know how to say blah 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 championship match.
Yo, Franny,
Yo,
2 hour 7 second mark. You got a duck Shay. He said, "Oh poop."
2 hours 7 seconds. I got 158.
Okay, but
talking
you got
about
to
2
yeah.
hour.
But Mark Shay down.
My
You got
bad, my
to
bad, my
duck
bad.
him.
Oh, Shay. Why? Why are you like that?
It just
Okay.
is what it is.
No. Cover yourself, brother. It's that New
No.
Bedford education.
I'm wearing shorts.
Duck. I just put 158, Duck. Holy. Okay. So now it threw me off. El Coliseo, San Juan, Puerto Rico, pay-per-view, great pay-per-view. We're going to talk about it now. Let's go through the card. As I go through the card, I'm going to click through some of these photos. Bianca Belair retained her WWE Raw Women's Championship in 18 minutes, defeating Io Sky by pinfall. Seth freaking Rollins defeated Omos by pinfall in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Austin Theory retained his WWE United States Championship against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed by pinfall. Rhea Ripley defeated Selena Vega by pinfall to retain her WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Bob Boney defeated Damian Priest, and that's like the opening spot right here too. Bob Boney, you like I said that, Vern? Bob Boney defeated Damian Priest by pinfall in a San Juan street fight in 25 minutes. Oh yeah, Rhea won in 7 minutes and 10 seconds, and Theory won in 6 minutes and 50 seconds. I didn't say the time. The bloodline of Solo Sikoa, Jey Uso, and Jimmy Uso defeated Matt Riddle, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn by pinfall in a 6-man tag match in 22 minutes. And Cody Rhodes defeated Brock Lesnar by pinfall in 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Let's start with the guy who knows how to hold his tongue and not curse, Vernon Somoza. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you didn't like. Pick a match, and then we'll have Shay pick a match. Go.
Whole show top to bottom. I watched the show in English. I watched it in the Spanish feed again. I went back and watched the whole show. You watched it in
SAP?
The whole show, because I wanted to hear the commentary.
It must have been fire.
Yo, Zelina's match. The one commentator stood up and homie was clapping, and like he just stopped. He fell out, and you could just hear him like clap. You could just hear him clapping for her, and he was like, "This is a moment. This is for our people." I had so much fun watching this card. Top to bottom, great card. The only match that gave me any sort of like the match for me that I got to walk away from and go, okay, I get this match. It's fine. Was the Bloodline match, but that was it, because there was nothing. That was the one match that I guess I wanted something out of it, but I don't know why I wanted more.
You got something.
I did. So either way, that was the only match that didn't necessarily do it all for me, but that was because it just felt like a normal SmackDown match. It just felt like every match I've seen of this combination.
A normal 22-minute SmackDown match.
You know what?
2 heats, brother.
I'm not. So I'm Sammy and Kevin. I'm not loving the we have to go for the 20-minute banger super kick fest match that they put on now twice. Like that was one thing I'd say about that.
The super kicks are very excessive. If people are gonna rag on the Young Bucks,
that's what I'm saying. Like it's the thing that we've often commented on about the Bucks. It's the thing you can point at them like. I don't know why. For some reason now they've just adopted it. Like it's just
Kevin. It's Kevin, and then mainly it's the Usos.
Yeah.
Usos throw super kicks just as much as the Bucks do.
As punches at this point.
Probably even more right now.
Like, to be honest.
And it just felt like it's gotten weirdly excessive in the last 2 matches. Like just weirdly excessive.
Like I'll say one thing, like the Young Bucks actually kind of like make the super kicks their thing, where I feel like the Usos just like throw it in.
They just do it to do it
as just another move,
and it's because it's a move that you like to see, but like at some point you do see it so much that it's just like
it is turning into a punch, like you said. It's turning into a punch.
It's
like dudes are going to start matches with super kicks.
It's become the new clothesline. Remember when, like, at one point everyone tried to do a clothesline from hell? That was just a thing. Everyone's just throwing lariats, trying to decapitate each other, and that just became the spot. Every double down was lariat inside out bump. That was every big man
Rikishi
had to take the Rikishi bump. And so the super kick that was it. That was like my biggest. But beyond that, the Bad Bunny match.
Listen, that was match of the night.
Yeah,
Bad Bunny Damian Priest match of the night. When he pulled out the Michinoku driver. I mean, look at the ref. Look at the ref over here. When he pulled out the Michinoku driver.
Yo, like, so that was it, because it was a wrestling fan who said, I'm gonna do a Michinoku driver. The first move I do is a Michinoku driver.
I don't care.
I lock up Michinoku driver. Falcon Arrow. He did a Falcon Arrow. I was just like, this dude is hitting.
Can we talk about how that whole crowd turned into a concert when he came out?
Yeah, they
top
sang
10
a song.
wrestling entrance of all time. Like the drone shot, everything fire.
Every match had an energy that was like, EO. Okay, opening match. You didn't
I
get
didn't-
behind
I-
EO. You
They
didn't
adopted
find
EO.
yourself being like,
Puerto
yo,
Rico adopted
what's about
EO.
to happen
yo,
right
like,
now? What's
And
Bianca
going
got
on?
Cena levels of like,
but Bianca slowly started to understand she needed to
facial
be the
expressions
heel.
and everything.
Yeah.
She was just
switched
like,
it.
forget y'all.
She switched it up. Yep.
Yeah, and I
when
liked
she
it.
won, they
And it-
gave her all the love and respect she deserved for winning.
And
the
it's not
belt
like
and
she,
being
like,
the
turned,
longest reigning
like-
women's champion.
Yeah, and it's not like she was like healed it out. She just became the aggressor. She was like, all right,
Right.
y'all are gonna boo me.
And
all right,
Io
watch.
Sky grasped the baby face in that match. And they really didn't change up much as part as because Bianca still took heat to her arm, on her left arm. She still
Yep.
took heat as a baby face. So it's not like she went in there and started working. What happened?
I was saying, how'd you feel about the finish where like Bianca at the
Oh, you
finish
talking about
was the no, not even that, but at the finish where Bianca was just like, I just threw her up on her
I'm
shoulders.
cool.
And said,
My arm don't hurt no more. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. That's
That
one.
was
That's
it.
always my one gripe that people go out of their way to
Sell a body part or
sell.
something.
Yeah, forget about it.
You do this, and then all of a sudden, the rush. That they'll explain it. The rush of adrenaline. It didn't really hurt her that time.
Okay.
It's like
And
I,
how did y'all feel about the Franny and I talked about it off camera? How'd you
Gorilla
feel
press?
about that spot?
I don't like the one-handed press.
Me
So,
neither.
Shouldn't
'Cause
it
it's
have
so-
ended after she had her up, held her up, right? Big spot, did this, and then that should have been the end of it. I didn't
She should've-
understand why she felt the need to hold her and like it was
Yeah.
like, okay, like you got caught up in the moment and you should like it because when she dropped EO, I
On
was
her
like,
face.
oh,
On her face.
like, she ate it.
So if I'm Bianca, I'm doing the press, right? The gorilla press. The illusion is I'm holding her up with both arms, but the real tell is, I mean, that's the illusion. But she's cooperating with you by posting on one of your shoulders. Obviously, she's pushing away. She's posting on your shoulder. You do one arm, as in this picture here. It gives away that it's a cooperative move.
See,
Right?
like, yeah.
I would have had it, did this, dropped her on one arm forward in front of me, like
And-
Gold or behind me, like Goldberg used to do.
And if possible, I would have had it where she has her up, right? And you can tell she's struggling. And EO just give it one or two shots to that arm. So when she drops it, she has her there real quick with one and then lets her go.
Lets her go. Yeah, either or. But yeah, I it's just
And that's being nitpicky.
right.
yeah,
That's
Right?
just
Like
us
that's
as
being
wrestling
nitpicky with a
fans.
fine-tooth comb. But overall,
They did well. They did amazing.
man, I found
That w-
myself like really investing in like, holy cow.
hmm
That would have been my
EO's
match of the
getting
night.
this love, this reaction. Wow.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the street fight, that would have been my match of the night.
Yeah, one match I really like this one right here, guys.
Almost is
Seth
showing
and
out.
Omos.
They
Bro.
Ethan Omos.
They
Did
put
a great
Omos in the
job.
deep end, yo, and he's swimming.
Yeah.
It was
He
single
was-
swim. and he's
again,
swimming.
Now he was in there
guy-
with an amazing driver.
And
Yep.
a guy that all the legends put over, and I feel like they put him over for a reason. He deserves the praise he's been getting. Taker was like, oh, this guy's somebody I would mentor. How did he
Omos
look
is
hitting
doing
Snake
well.
Eyes?
Snake Eyes with a
Almost
big
hit
boot.
Snake Eyes
He
in
hit
the
it.
corner.
That's the second time he's done that. I
Yeah.
saw.
The bra.
So hold on. Let me see here. What was the part that I liked the most from this match? How he blocked the first curb stomp. How he just said, nope.
Bruh,
Put his
bruh.
arms on the mat like, nope. Are you kidding
how
me? And started
Bobby
standing
La-
up.
How
Bobby Lashley
strong
did it
is he?
first.
With Omos, I feel like it just
It's different.
looked a lot better.
Yeah.
You know what I
Because
mean?
Seth looked so tiny, and it was
Yes.
just like,
And like spots like that, I thought was creative, like going for the pedigree while he was on his knees and backdropping him from his knees.
Yes.
Money.
can we talk about? Do you think you could backdrop somebody off your knees?
Hell no.
Can,
Hell no.
can we just
with
talk about
with my knees?
the,
Oh hell
the
no.
hinge, the hinge? Like
Yeah.
I was sitting there trying to like I blew out my back just watching it a second time. I was like, I'm done.
There's
I'm done.
cooperation, but you still have to go bend over, stand up, and push. You still have to.
I will.
Off a knee? Nah.
I will say I was
mind blowing. That almost did that to
terrified.
me.
I was terrified watching Seth go up for the finish.
Oh,
because I
my
had
gosh.
Sid Vicious moment like in my
His
head.
leg, right?
That's the only because I'm
Hey.
like, because Cash was with me. He goes, "Oh, he's gonna hit a super stomp," and I'm like, "Bro, he has to plant that other leg. Like, how is
And
this
remember
gonna go
what
good?"
happened with Kane, where
Yep.
he tweaked his knee and he was gone for a few
But
months.
came out.
So
It looked
I was
amazing.
money. They did
And the
great.
bump that almost took off it. My man
Yeah.
said he turned his face, hand out. I was like, yes, sir. Let's go. Wrestling school
There's-
day
I
one.
will
Get
say-
that frame the face and get down there. Let's
There's
go.
still one thing. I don't know what it is. There's still one thing about Almost that's missing.
Hmm.
I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it.
Mm.
But there's something when I watch him. There's something that's not clicking for me.
Do you think Omos can enter that weird space of like he's a baby face, but he's not a baby face. But
So-
the people will start to like him, they'll start to cheer him, and through time he'll get there. But like he's still very much just as him.
I
This, like,
think my thing is like he's like the silent giant right now. And when you watch him like when I watch him like in interviews and stuff, like he's a normal like not like a normal dude, but like you know what I mean? He
Yes,
has like
he
a
is.
Gentle
person-
giant. Gentle
have you
giant.
seen his anime fan account?
Yes, he has a personality to him. But I'm like, and then he comes on TV and he's all dripped out, right? He's in suits and this, but then he's just still portraying like just a silent giant. I feel like if he's like just a little bit more of himself, if they could try to get that out of him on TV,
So you
I
know
feel like that's-
exactly what that is,
because
though.
he's like a
Shay.
generic giant right now. I feel like that's the
This
thing
is,
that's
you know what
missing.
that is, though. That is the creative team
Yes,
creating that character for him.
yes,
Because they said, this guy's about 7'4", 400 pounds. Let's make him the next big giant.
yep.
We'll give him a mouthpiece. First, it was AJ as a mentor, where all
Do
he
you
has to do is
remember
be a big
AJ
heavy.
and tag champs?
Yep.
It
his
was
first
almost
match?
just outside of the pandemic, no?
Yeah. Started
21?
the pandemic.
Started in the pandemic.
The one
And
at the
now,
pandemic
and look at him
mania.
now. I will give Omos all the credit in the world from what I saw when he was with AJ, when we saw him live, Shay, and
Yeah.
he just bodied the New Day and everybody in that match,
Yeah.
to now, improvement for
Oh,
sure.
yes.
100% improvement. He held his own against Seth Rollins for 10 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yep.
That is a feat within itself. Like, good job, Omos. I
It made it
think
competitive because it wasn't just squash, go home.
right.
It was
And
competitive.
And we said probably I think we were watching Mania and we said his match with Brock was his best match to date. This trumps that.
Yeah.
He
I
got
feel
in there with Seth and held his own.
Yeah.
You
His
know?
last few singles matches have all been a hit. This with Seth, the one with Brock, and then the one with Braun was amazing last year.
Yeah. Yeah. The Braun.
So I feel like
that's where it started.
yeah,
Him and Braun started his streak of good.
I-
That was
and I-
Clash at the Castle, no?
and I think
Yes.
they're letting him
Yeah.
work more instead of just being like they're letting him work more.
That'd
Like-
be in the big bruiser.
It's exactly. So
He's getting a grasp of it. You can tell. You can tell. So good for him. Anything
he deserves
else?
the praise. He deserves the praise he's getting from the legends.
We
Let's just
talked
go through
about.
it. What you think?
That's
What you think of the
street fight, man.
three-way?
I'm about to say the U.S. title.
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't think I would.
Yes,
I didn't think
it
I
was good.
would,
It was
but
a
I
good
liked
sprint.
it.
It
The
was
finish-
it was a weird
finish.
sleeper match.
Yeah, great finish. I
Bronson
just
got
wanna
himself
point
over
that
with that crowd. They were calling him El Gordito the whole time.
So that was my biggest takeaway. When he walked out, nobody
Nothing.
cared. Yo, it was quiet. It was
Yeah.
definitely
Yeah.
like he was definitely the guy that's like, you're just stretching because you're like,
Yeah.
wow, this is awkward as
He's
hell.
doing this.
Yep.
Nobody's
Grabbing the
no,
ropes.
no one's talking about.
Okay, what was more awkward? Bronson Reed or
Dana Brooke. Poor
Dana
Dana
Brooke.
Brooke.
Oh,
Let's let's
the Dana
go.
one hurt where she fist bumped the like barricade and you couldn't even tell if it was the kid's hand.
What made it even worse is the kid.
Ugh.
It's not like the kid wasn't paying attention. The kid looked her right in the eyes. and was
Oh,
like,
the kid was like,
nah.
He's like, no.
no.
And it's like, it was almost like the Office secondhand embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like I felt sorry for
Michael
her.
Scotches.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, the cringe. She's sitting there
Dana's
like, let's
tots.
go. And it went right. That was the last thing you saw before a commercial break. It
Yep.
was like, boom, high five. Oh, okay, fist bump. And
Now think about Dana Brooke, like always like, oh, give Dana a chance on Twitter and stuff. And then to come out on your first TV appearance in months and then that happened to you.
And then
Like,
you
your
get
first
squashed
is
by
a title
Rhea.
shot. Ooh.
You get
Yep.
squashed by Rhea.
But so he gets over.
She doesn't even stack you. She makes you tap. Every girl gets stacked like what Rhea does. No, I'm just gonna make you tap. You remember that, huh? She did her
I think she stacked her. For a second, no, she hit her with the move. Then she picked her up and hit her with
she beat her with the secondary. You know you're bad when you get
like you don't even get the stack. You're not getting the chance for this picture. No, I love that. But no, go ahead. We can talk about the triple threat. Let's talk about this triple threat.
Getting over was probably the best part of the match. Was that homie won the crowd over, just giving it his all, and the crowd started showing him love because at first that crowd was just silent on that big boy.
Vader bomb to the outside was pretty cool. I never seen that before.
Yeah.
Bronson was working, man. He put his working shoe boots on.
And I appreciated that nobody disappeared weirdly for just long moments.
Making it a singles match and all that. The traditional way to call a triple threat.
That was my favorite thing about this match, was just that this felt like, this is like a triple threat. Like we grew up watching triple threat matches like this where the guys were actively working. It wasn't all high intensity every 10 seconds, but they're working and not one guy just disappears to let a singles match happen. And then you'll get bumped and you're gone and another singles match happens. And then inevitably you'll get bumped. And then the other two guys didn't get the fight. They get their singles matches and then comeback time. And I was really glad just to see this took a different format for that triple threat match versus the typical, guys disappear. Guys just,
I think
guys are watching, holding the ropes, watching.
Yeah, I think there was a time where like if there were guys on the ground, they stayed nearby. They were on the apron, they were on the ground, but they were ready to get their next spot in. There wasn't times where guys were just down and out for 5 minutes waiting for this. Kind of like how Sheamus, Gunther, and Drew went. How they had Gunther out for a while, but for that match it made sense. Where Gunther was out for a while.
Well, they were beating the
Right. That big
flesh off each other. So if you told me guy disappeared, I'm not questioning that.
I gotta let my chest breathe.
I would be holding my chest.
Gotta let my chest breathe.
Please. Let me go, guys. Let me take this one.
Right.
I don't blame that one, but this hard workers.
I was gonna say, what you guys think of the finish? I love the finish. I think Bobby Spears, Bronson, right? If I'm not mistaken, he hits his spear on
Austin
him.
Theory threw him out and made.
You're muted, Shay. Put your what you say?
I was blowing my nose. I don't remember.
The finish was Bobby Lashley hits the spear on
Bronson.
Bronson, thank you. I was going to call him Jonah. Hits the joint on Bronson. Bronson takes a big bump. Theory comes in from behind like a dirty heel, tosses him out the ring, and then runs back, gets a quick pinfall.
Doesn't he post him? Does he post him first? And then
he posts him as he's going.
And then he scrambles right on to Bronson, picks up the victory. I'm out of here. I loved it. I love that.
It was a finish I expected, but watching it happen, I dug it. I was like, great finish.
They did a great job.
But because it just maintained that sense of like, this match is moving. It just, right? Like, it's one of the few triple threats that didn't feel like it dragged.
Well, they went 7 minutes. They only went 7.
That's all you need.
But it was a lot. It was a lot in 7 minutes. So it was
we can agree, right? Most triple threats go 20. And it's like, this only goes 20 because everybody needs a moment to get a set of heat, a comeback, a double down, a triple down. This didn't have.
Everybody's got to get a falsie.
Did this have a triple down?
Nah.
I think so.
It was more of a sprint.
Yeah, the guys were going.
And it felt like it was worth it. It was worth the sprint. This was worth it.
As I look at the times, I feel like these next two matches, this match here and this match here, were sped up,
man,
for this guy.
Yes. And can we just say though that
this guy being match, Bad Bunny for the audio listeners,
that ladies match, Rhea and Zelina only took long because they let Zelina soak in. That's the only reason that match took that long. If we're being honest, that was probably like a 4-minute match.
Zelina's the chancla spot, right? The chancleta where she threw it. Technically, that's a DQ, but we'll let it slide. We'll let that slide in Puerto Rico. Vern, I know you didn't like it. I can tell already you didn't like the spot.
It's Puerto Rico. I'm with you. It's Puerto Rico. So
you gotta let that.
I half expected the mom to hit the ring, so I was like, "It's Puerto Rico." I expected the police to be in on it, and the police just to stand back, like, "Nah."
Yeah, that gave me red and white. I'm good.
Yeah, with the dom on her trunks. Now, I look at this picture here that I have up, and it's of Zelina trying to avoid Rhea
That
Ripley.
Picture looks edited because Rhea is so much bigger than her. Yo.
But doesn't it look like a superhero comic book strip?
Yeah.
Where two like the baby face, which is Zelina, like Queen Puerto Rico, is about to take on the big bad Rhea Ripley, you know what I mean? It's what it looks like. Captain Puerto Rico or whatever, about to take on this hulking figure that is Rhea Ripley. That's literally what pro wrestling is. It's like live comic books. That's what we talked about forever.
That match went on. They worked the big man, little man in a way that made sense for them. As two ladies working it, it wasn't two ladies who were trying to, we got to have this. It had a great match. But again, when that end came, did Rhea just not straight up grab her?
Come here.
Manipulate her body midair? Yep. Just like,
come here.
Yep.
Like she slammed her 2-year-old kid or something. Like, you know, you're wrestling around with your kid and you just, or Shay, your little brother, bam, just throw him around. That's what it was
finish of the match felt like she was like, yeah, we're done.
We're done.
Yeah, it was just like, what? It was
they said, take it home. Bam. Let me stack you up real quick.
That was the only thing that I had you up. Was that the finish was so violent. The finish felt violent because it was just like Rhea physically ripped her off the ground and just whipped her back on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, damn. But she rolled out and gave Zelina
the ring. I love that. Hold on, before you get to that, I loved before and throughout the entire show, I love the crowd participation from the Puerto Rican fans, where every hit, from every strike,
Shay,
I love that.
Shay, was it not watching Carlos Colon versus Abdullah the Butcher and El Coliseo? All we didn't have was them walking along the field fighting. But remember, Carlos Colon would just throw those punches.
That was great. I loved it. Them counting in Spanish. I watched it over.
I was getting chills, brother. I was getting chills. Yeah. No, with them going, I was like, I kept popping up like, oh my God, this is like watching old tapes, sir.
I was going to say, I watched it with my daughter and she was like, what are they saying? I'm like, they're saying, take that in Spanish. So I was like, that's what he's saying. They're saying, take that in Spanish. Every time they hit, she's like, what are they saying? I was like, now they're counting in Spanish. Like, she even got engaged in it and she started saying it with them. She's sitting there counting, uno, dos. So I'm like, look at her. It sounded like Dora the Explorer counting along, watching the wrestling. And I'm like, that's awesome, because the only way you can experience that is when you go to that country. You're not going to get that in the States anywhere. You have to go to that country to get that experience. And those people delivered. Not only did the performers of every match deliver, the crowd delivered and made that show that much more special. Backlash, because of their participation.
This Backlash is a show, like, you know how there's like always that, like, oh, what's a match you would show a non-wrestling fan?
Yeah.
Backlash is a show that you could put on in full and watch it with a non-wrestling fan just to watch it with them.
It had that takeover vibes, that early NXT takeover vibe, right? Of like we're gonna have fun at this show. We're gonna cheer for everybody, no matter what. We're gonna cheer for everybody. We're gonna boo the heels, cheer the faces. We're gonna love the people we love. We're gonna sing songs. Like, this was a crowd that came out to have fun.
Yep.
And I was with them.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm looking at the New Year's Revolution pay-per-view from 18 years ago. And oh my God. All right. Is there anything we got to talk about? We got to talk about the guys, man.
So Rhea Zelina, fun match, just for the reaction Zelina got.
Zelina got her moment.
To close it out. Her moment, like,
her
she didn't
almost
need
in
to
tears. Win. Yo, soy boricua.
She'll remember that for the rest of her life.
Yep.
I felt like, wow.
That was her Mania moment to me.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
She'll never get to be in the main event of WrestleMania.
Yeah. So you know how, like,
she'll never forget that moment.
I always laugh because it's always like, you know how, like, we always say, like, oh, who could be in the Hall of Fame, right? Like, that's the moment where, like, that's all they're gonna show. Like let's say, like, Zelina ever gets inducted, that's the clip they're gonna show the whole time.
Career defining moment. 100%.
Right. Yep. Speaking of career-defining moments, I know we talked about it earlier, but let's talk about this one, man. I feel like we got to talk more about it before we move on. We talked about the six-man. I feel like there's only two more we need to talk about: Priest and then the main event.
I don't really listen to Bad Bunny, but Chembe has been in my Shambe or whatever how you want to pronounce it. Has been in my Spotify playlist. I listened to it like in the car today. I was like, all right.
Now you a Bunny fan.
Because of WWE. Because of that game, Same thing. That his music be on rotation. I'd be putting it on Spotify. I just put the This Is Bad Bunny playlist. I just hit play.
Yep, exactly.
And I'm like, that's why when they were chanting his name, bro, when they were chanting his name,
people were crying. Were the girls crying when he came out?
Yep.
Yo, when they were just shouting Benito, I was like, what's happening
I
right
love
now?
I love that.
I watched that entrance like 100 times already. Like I watched look at me be in a sweat. I watched the actual entrance and I went on YouTube and I was watching like cell phone versions of the entrance. Insane.
All in your history.
And what did he do? He just walked out.
Yeah,
he embraced
the sickest part.
But you know
the sickest
why?
part is he didn't do canon, didn't do any insane over the top Eminem, right? All the different kind of amazing epic entrances we've ever seen at a pay-per-view, and this dude just walked out and got a garbage can and got a trash can like he was cosplaying New Jack.
Yep. He was New Jack. Yep.
All he didn't do was just dance playing the guitar. Or if he had dance out, it'd be like, all right, now we know he's cosplaying New Jack.
If his music was playing the entire match, we'd be like, okay, this guy's a New Jack fan.
But also, what's up with the outfit? What'd you think of his fit? What was up with his fit?
It was his fit. It was his fit.
He definitely goes to the club in that fit, bro. The Adidas.
Did he directly in that outfit after the show?
He went out and went to the club. He went to the club right after.
Are you probably gonna put some respect on Damian Priest's name?
Okay, hold on now. For
going out there.
You know me. I don't like Damian Priest for the life of me. What was my big gripe, Shay? You know what's my gripe on Damian Priest?
He work as a big man.
He don't work big.
But in WWE, he's really not that much of a big man. It's the truth.
He's thin, but he's like 6'7", Shay. He is a big guy.
He is Randy
when you're bumping for AJ Styles, who's 5'11", I'm sorry, brother.
He is Randy Orton's height. He is Randy Orton's height. They're like the same height.
How tall is Randy Orton?
6'6", isn't he? 6'5"?
They bill him at 6'5". They built
6'5". Okay.
How much does he weigh? He is thin, 250. Still, he is a big individual.
Yeah.
He comes off as a bigger guy. Don't give me that he don't. Okay. Besides bumping for this and all that, Priest worked as a large professional wrestler taking on some amateurs never done this before. And I loved the story they told when they started attacking his leg. The psychology about his leg being damaged and he couldn't do the things that he wanted to do to manipulate Bad Bunny. I can't say I hated it. I loved every bit of it.
What put the match over the moon to me was I love how they gave Damian Priest the out because he beat him in 2 minutes. He had him ready with the choke slam and then lifted him up.
Yep.
And then
I'm not done.
Yep, and then
that's dirty heel tactics. It's dirty heel tactics, and then
so
they gave him that out. Then all the Gaga, brother. When Carlito came out, I said, Carlito? Wait a second. I was like, whoa.
What was that pop like?
Ooh.
That was a stone cold pop.
You thought Carlos came out. You thought Carlos came out,
I half expected Carlos just to wander out there, just look around. Because that place would have gone insane. But the pop that Carlito got, you had to feel good for him. Even during his run, he never got a pop like that.
No.
Oh, yeah. You would think he would have been on that pay-per-view, too, the New Year's Revolution one. You said he was hurt? See, that sucks.
That, and I think the first 3 matches, 3 people tore their ACL or whatever, like, on that pay-per-view, or got injured. Yeah.
Was it the Ring or something?
I don't know.
Holy.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna recall that one, too, and then get to the title match soon.
Man, Damian Priest became a main event guy. That was his match that said, okay, this is a main event guy.
You took Bad Bunny.
Yeah, go ahead.
You protected him for
That's what I was gonna
say. Damn near 30 minutes.
25 minutes is what this says.
And made him look good. Made yourself look good. Didn't make yourself look foolish. Like,
yep.
So, can we say that currently under Triple H, WWE has found a way to like authentically represent the places they're going and like find ways to integrate that into a show that doesn't feel
I feel like WWE
corny.
I feel like they found their I don't want to say niche, but they found something.
The stride, maybe?
Yes, I guess. they found something that's already taken them to the next level now.
I mean, what else could they have done in the States? So going international and then using, I mean, look at the roster. The roster is filled with guys from all over the place. I think the next step I heard was Australia.
Yep.
You don't think Rhea Ripley might headline an Australian?
Of course.
Wow.
Of Australian pay-per-view?
Yeah.
And I remember the last time they went to Australia, they had who was their big match? Buddy Murphy where they gave him the big cruiserweight title win, and they made that a big deal that night.
I don't even remember. Sheesh, I don't even remember. I watched so much damn wrestling.
See, like that's what I mean. Like they're going somewhere and they're going to actually use the talent who is from there and promote them.
Yes.
And put them over in a big way.
But think about it. They did it with Bulldog too in the UK, right? They did it with Bulldog.
Yeah.
Okay, but after Bulldog, can we think of another time that they've really like?
Oh no, I mean
it like that. Like
other
that's what I
than- other
mean.
Did they have international guys that were over like that?
The only one I could
really.
think of is the Heart Foundation in Canada. That's
I would
it.
say
Yeah.
Brett and
Canada.
like that's what this felt like, right? This felt like a
Canadian
fun version
Stampede.
of Brett in Canada, where
Canadian Stampede pay-per-view.
yeah,
Where they lost their minds in that main event.
Yo, and I gotta. Oh no, you can go, Vern.
no. Go ahead.
Like Bad Bunny, man, for going in there for 25 minutes. Like
It's not easy.
I know it was Gaga with
I
like
can't
no,
do 25 minutes.
and taking the
Like,
table bump and like
working.
And
Now,
you
granted,
could see him sucking wind, man. You could see him just.
yep.
there was a time where he had a lot of rest during all the Gaga.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
He had tons of rest. And of course, it's done that way. It's done
Yes.
that way because then
He
right
needed
after all
it.
the Gaga
He
was
needed
done,
it.
they went home. They went home right after that. So he played
But,
his
like,
part perfectly.
Yeah, like more power to him for having a trust in him, like not just putting him in the tag team, which could have been easy. Him and Ray
Yeah.
versus Dom and Priest.
Priest,
Which
yeah.
that's what we thought the match
That's what
was.
we
Yeah.
thought at first.
And
yeah.
that's what would have been the
Never
easy
in a
thing to
million
do.
years a
And-
one-on-one match.
And this man gave up. I bet you, like, was like, we're not gonna work WrestleMania. We're gonna work like Backlash in Puerto Rico,
Yeah.
and they made it a much bigger deal.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It was all about them from right after Mania
Yep.
up until this point.
So Gaga wise,
Yep.
Carlito,
Mm-hmm.
the
Theo
LWO.
Savio Vega.
How'd y'all feel about Savio Vega coming out there?
Good for him, man. That made up for No Way Out.
No Way Out of Texas, that one.
That made up for they made up for his revealing No Way Out.
Yo, I just got to that pay-per-view. It was like, huh? They were like,
Yo,
what?
the way Finn was selling those freaking chops, money.
Oh my god. Did you see Savio almost fall over?
Yes, with
Into
the kick.
into the during the
To
rip?
hear Corey Graves say TNT, I lost my mind when he called him TNT because the mark in me was like, oh, he
said
knows about TNT.
Yo, no, that was a great match. I thought it should have been main event. I told you that, Vern, when we did our cards, that I thought it should be the main event, and
When he,
those dudes delivered.
Dom, Ray.
out the Kwang.
How you feel about Dom? My man Dom getting out there and Dom eating one from
Taking the apples.
Yo,
Yeah.
shout out to them for all wearing their white gear, yo.
Yeah,
Like,
all looking
that
like a
main
unit,
event gear.
man. I love it. Anything else
Speaking of
about
Dom,
that?
I'm just real
Yeah.
sidebar. Did y'all see Dom Monday Night Raw 2 weeks ago when they cut that promo in Texas and Dom got on the mic and for about a good 2 minutes the
They wouldn't let
crowd
him talk?
literally refused to let him say a
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
Heat magnet.
And he had to start. He just yelled his promo out. At one point, he was just like, "Whatever, rah 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 rah."
He
and
had
the
to.
crowd just
Yep.
wouldn't stop. I was
Mhm.
like,
They're booking them.
"What's happening now that Dom has hit nuclear heat level? Not
It
Taylor
was the
Channel
story.
heat.
I'm telling you.
Dom has hit the like. I'm paying to find somebody to beat this kid's butt. Beat this
Yep.
kid's butt today now.
Think of a young punk disrespecting their parents.
Yo, on
Nobody
SmackDown-
likes that.
How
Nobody
does
likes
that
SmackDown
that.
when he-
How does it still work today though? My deadbeat dad.
Whoa,
Like,
he's
that's
Ray.
the-
What are you talking about?
My
Y'all see on
deadbeat
SmackDown when
dad.
he ran in the ring and just smacked his dad and bounced? Like when
I
they
didn't
powdered,
see-
you didn't see that opening promo?
Mm-mm. I
They
must have
announced
missed it.
the main event for SmackDown, the Puerto Rico show. So they did the promo in the beginning. They accepted a match. Judgment Day leave the ring. So Ray turns around to go talk to the LWO. Ray runs in. I mean, Dominic runs back in, slap, and just slides right back out. Yo, it was just, it was
Another one. There's another one right
Golly,
there.
Shay.
Sorry.
Holy.
the slimiest thing I've ever seen. It was hilarious.
There we go.
There you go, Shay. Attaboy. Way to open up that vocabulary, that vernacular of yours.
Yeah, I can't.
Another duck.
It was
Holy.
so all in all, fun to see Savio hand him the kendo stick, the Puerto Rico kendo stick, and him to use the Puerto Rico kendo stick, him being Bad Bunny, Lord. I'm tired, huh? Anyway, kendo
one more
stick
segment.
shots,
We're taking it home after this.
I was all about it. It was everything it needed to be, and then some. Thank you, Bad Bunny. Thank you, Damian Priest. Great match.
They did great. Like I said, I just think it should have been a main event. You guys want to talk about that main event now? We covered the 6-man really. We said, Vern, you said what it was.
It was fine. It wasn't bad. It was fine.
The point was the finish.
Yeah.
The finish is what mattered. The match really didn't. The finish between the dissension between the Usos and Solo and the tag and Solo getting all pissed off, yoking up Jay with the goozle. That's all that really mattered.
But didn't it feel like we really didn't need the 22-minute match to get there?
No, we could have.
That was my thing. It's just like we didn't need, and it just feels like it's becoming a pattern that like at the pay-per-view you always get the 22-minute banger, but it's like this story doesn't need 22-minute bangers anymore. Like
that match didn't.
We kind of get what the story is at this point. So just
I agree.
Tell us something. That's what I was saying is like I just tell me something else to the story. Like I didn't walk away, like you said, right? Like the finish of like adding that wrinkle with them, but it's like, you know what? Then we didn't really need the Uso. We didn't need Jimmy. Sammy and KO. Like we didn't really need them to tell that part of the story. I think that's why it was there.
To be honest, I think that was the.
I hope so.
Bloodline got their get back.
Yeah,
and it's because of what Solo did, and it's going to start the story of what's going on with the Bloodline.
Gotcha.
Because they've already, Sammy and KO already moved on to Imperium the following Monday.
I hope so.
You know what I mean?
So I can definitely use a break from an interaction.
We had enough.
Those
we had enough. We talked about it ad nauseum for one whole episode with Shay. So
speaking of ad nauseum, Brock Lesnar, face covered in blood, Cody blood on his side. What a visual was seeing barbaric Brock screaming, daggone, there was spit coming out of his mouth, him just going, trying to get that key lock on Cody.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brock being a psycho, getting color the hard way in 2023.
Right here.
Yep.
I've got a scar right there. This ain't fun getting cut right here. It is not.
Shout out to Brock in 2023. Because people were arguing, was it a work? Was it intentional? Was it not? I don't care. He banged his head in that corner. Either way, that happened. Real or not. Yeah, and he said,
it was like, pouring, buddy. It was pouring. He split himself good. Yeah, I think that to me, without that part of the match, it would have just been meh. Cody went over. I think it added to it crazy.
What I loved about it is because once he started bleeding, so that's the thing. I think he was supposed to bleed the whole time. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, he got busted up the hard way.
Can't blade though. We're not gonna blade. We're gonna.
So it's like, oh, it's an accident. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing that gave it away that, like, I bet you it was planned for him to bleed was immediately, like, you know how they like immediately go check on you? There was nothing like that. Cody immediately ran and punches through the head to the open wound and rubbing it all over himself.
That's how they give you the idea that it's the work. Yep.
If it was an accident, that wouldn't happen.
Look what happened with Finn and Edge. That was an accident. Immediately
covered it up. Yep.
They said, wait a minute, take it off the camera, take it off screen. We've got to staple this dude's head back, and then he can continue to work. And they were not showing any of that.
Yep.
Brock cuts his face open. The ref takes his time to put his gloves on. He's like, well.
Ref was definitely like, okay, he's bleeding.
The ref puts I guess I got to put his gloves on now. All right, let's go.
And I think that was definitely like old school Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico needs blood. Like, come on.
There you go.
When he wiped the blood towards the end, was when the ref finally wiped it, because at one point the homie had the
crimson mask. Yeah,
crimson mask.
What was it? The Muda scale? 5 on the Muda scale.
Yeah.
Oh, what a visual! What a visual!
Fantastic. There's nothing really for me to say about this match besides that. That was,
it was a 1.0. Excuse me, it was a 1.0 on the Muda scale.
Huh? Say it again.
You said you asked the Muda scale. It's a 1.0.
1.0. Thank you,
Bermuda
sir.
scale was
I don't
from
remember the number.
point to 1. But solid 1.
I'm about to say that was a 1. Yeah, he read everywhere.
I
But no,
sent
that's
that Dom spot on the private chat.
you said the Dom spot on a private chat. Okay. But yeah, no, I really have nothing else to say. Do you guys have anything else to say about this match besides that?
Nah, it was good. It was
a solid 10 minutes. Brock
Yeah.
worked. I was cool with it. Brock, what happened? What's so funny? Oh, he's watching the
You gotta
spot.
see the spot.
I'm not gonna watch it right
It
now.
is definitely everything Shay just said it was.
I'm not gonna watch it right now because I've got to navigate. Shay wanted me to point out the card for New Year's Revolution 2005. You ready for this, Vern?
Hit me.
Blind React. You didn't watch this show, I bet. Maybe we should watch this show. And
I've
then
never seen the show before.
it was in the same stadium, right? Am I bugging?
Yep, same stadium.
Coliseo de
I
Puerto
think it's the only
Rico.
stadium Puerto Rico has.
15,764 people were there. Okay, there was a dark match. The Hurricane and Rosie defeated La Resistance in 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Then the show started off with a tag match for the World Tag Team Championships. Eugene and William Regal defeated Christian and Tyson Tomko to retain their title in 12 minutes and 22 seconds.
Yikes.
Now, remind you, this is 2005, Vern, okay?
Okay. What a weird card that is. That's a weird match.
Trish Stratus defeated Lita to earn the WWE Women's Championship in 3 minutes and 46 seconds.
Yikes. Okay, that doesn't sound right.
For the Intercontinental Championship, you're going to love this one. Shelton Benjamin retained his title against Maven.
And let me tell you, Maven was not a thing in 05. Like, he was Sunday Night Heat. Sunday Night Heat.
So how he must have had a passport.
He was on the Gizass.
Was he? He was super jacked at that point?
Yep.
To the gills?
Okay. To the gills, daddy. All right. And then we have Muhammad Hassan with Davari defeat Jerry Lawler with Jim Ross in 10 minutes and 51 seconds.
So, mind you,
God.
that match had no commentary because JR was not on the commentary table.
Okay, so this sounds like this.
We have to watch this.
Watch the show.
We have to watch this.
I've never heard this before.
I wish we could do these as bonus-odes.
See,
we can actually have it. Man.
Word, Professor. This word Professor would have been great because right now he'd have some random factoid about the show that I'd be like, really? Because he'd be telling me some story about it. See that?
Only good,
had to go to,
only
had to
good
go to
match
bed.
was
Word.
the main event.
Give him the point, Vern. It's your fault. You got to get your finger close.
Your
fault.
You always want Professor.
You ready for this next one, Vern? You're going to love this one. Kane defeated Gene Snitsky in the pre-main event in 11 minutes and 38 seconds.
What Kane? What Kane is this?
Unmasked Kane, right? Bald Kane. Yeah. Oh my god.
Wait, bald Kane, black-eyed bald Kane?
Kane, I just
see no evil Kane?
I just Gene Snitsky, I just ended your baby. It wasn't my fault.
Oh my god.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't know about that?
I don't know that gimmick. I was Laps fans at that time.
It wasn't my fault. You don't know about that, Gene? Wow, I got.
Isn't that where he kicked the baby? Is that who punted the baby?
Yep.
Punted the baby. Okay, that I've heard before.
I've seen that. Main event was an elimination chamber match.
Okay.
For the World Heavyweight Championship with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. Your favorite. Triple H with Ric Flair defeated Randy Orton, Batista, Jericho, Edge, and Benoit in 35 minutes and 1 second. Is that the elimination chamber where Randy gigs before he hits the cage?
I don't know. Randy was in like every chamber at one point.
Okay, because him and Triple H had a spot where they did the catapult, and you can see on film Randy's gigging before he comes up and smacks the cage on the
probably
chamber.
Was.
I didn't know that was in Puerto Rico.
Gotcha.
But if that's the case, I've seen that chamber. So yeah, wow.
Never seen it.
That's a terrible card.
That doesn't sound very fun.
That card sounds awful. And that was in 05. 18 years later, they deliver with an amazing pay-per-view. So anything else?
They owed them.
Anything else before we move on? We got about 15 minutes before we wrap this thing on up, and then we'll go we'll talk about this World Heavyweight title tournament. You want to do that? All right. I could have sworn. Oh yeah, I had an article. Where'd it go? All right, I'll get it back. Hold on. Boom, boom. Oh, it was I went to Night of Champions. That's right. Okay, so at Night of Champions, we will crown a new, let me get that right. The tournament is for the World Heavyweight Championship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is what you wanted to bring up, Vern. I remember that. We have 12 participants in this tournament. Me and you, Vern, we made predictions. We thought it was going to be 8 men, traditional tournament style.
Correct.
They flipped the script on us. They said, nope, we're going to have 4 triple threat matches, 2 on Raw, 2 on SmackDown. The winners of those 2 matches are going to take on each other in the main event of that night, and the winner will move on to face each other at Night of Champions on May 27th. So, for Raw, it was Damian Priest, Seth freaking Rollins, and Shinsuke Nakamura in one match. And then we had Cody Rhodes, Finn Balor, and The Miz in another match. This so far, I'll just let you know, peek behind the curtain. It is now Thursday, May 11th at 2 o'clock in the morning where we're recording this. So SmackDown hasn't happened yet. So for that, they have AJ Styles, Edge, and Rey Mysterio in one triple threat match, which is going to be crazy.
Fact.
And then you have Austin Theory, Bobby Lashley, and Sheamus in the other match on SmackDown.
That's
the winner of those 2 will
fight.
move on to the main event of SmackDown that night on May 12th. And the winner of that main event will take on the winner of the Raw main event, which was Seth freaking Rollins at Night of Champions. So it sounds a little confusing, but before we get started, I just wanted to see how many people we got right in that tournament. So we said Seth Rollins. We were correct there. We said he was going to be the winner. We sung it. We literally sung it together.
Mm-hmm.
We said Seth Rollins. We said Austin Theory. We said Bobby Lashley. We then said Drew McIntyre, which is not the case. LA Knight, not the case. Matt Riddle, not the case. Finn Balor, which was another one. And Karrion Kross. So we got 4 out of the 8 that we thought, which was 4 out of the 12 participants. You said, what if we got Seth and Finn Balor in the finals? Technically, we got it in the Raw finals, in the main event of the semifinals, but you did call that match happening. So I'll give you 10 points for that one, sir. But what did you guys think of what we saw so far on Raw? The triple threat match between Rollins, Priest, and Nakamura, and the match between Cody, Balor, and Miz. Go ahead, Shay. You go first.
I like that they're making it a big deal. Like they're putting they're stacking the tournament up with all the top guys and former champs and former contenders.
Mm-hmm.
Seth was the right choice to go to the end. I do like how they had Brock cost Cody.
I love that.
And further that, and my prediction for the finals.
Look at my face, Shay. Look at my face.
The prediction, I think, is going to be Edge versus Seth.
Edge versus Seth.
When Seth finally gets his win back against Edge.
Okay. I have a different take on that. Vern, you go ahead. What you got?
I'm gonna agree with you on that one. I think that SmackDown's gonna give us some fun matches. I'm really excited to see that triple threat between Ray, AJ, and Edge.
That match is insane. Think about that.
That really is. That's a wild match.
That's insane. Yeah.
So
nuts.
This past Raw, by the way, we had these matches. This was the most eventful Raw. This was actually the weirder, just Raw overall. This was a weird.
There
Raw
was so to piggyback off you. Sorry.
Yeah.
There was a lull from 9:30 till about the time this main event started between Seth and Finn. For that 45 minutes to an hour, I was drifting off. I started going on my phone.
Yesterday's Raw, whatever that was yesterday. Excuse me. Monday's Raw this week, whatever reason felt
3 hours.
Not the but this not that it was the worst show, but this week was a show that I was
wasn't engaging at one point.
And I did feel I did read and see videos too where that crowd just gave everybody nothing.
Yeah.
To go from Backlash,
Puerto Rico, which is hard.
That crowd.
Yeah.
Where were they? Florida, right?
Jacksonville,
Florida.
And they were
AEW country.
Everything.
It's AEW country, brother. You know, half the fans were like this, sitting in the crowd with their bellies up.
What was that fan's name?
Where's McKinney?
What was that fan's name?
I'm sorry.
Frank with the son.
I don't remember his name. Oh, I do now. I'm not saying it now. Nope, I'm not saying it now, but I remember it. I remember it.
I think you know what? I wasn't gonna go with. It won't be AJ, and it won't be Ray. Edge is the one that makes sense out of that. The other match.
Let's see if she's on the page with me.
I think. What is it? Lashley,
Theory, Sheamus.
I think you get Sheamus out of that. I think Sheamus and Edge, and I think ultimately you put Edge over.
I think I could see. Okay, so I think it's gonna be Seth and Edge, but I could also see it Seth and Austin Theory.
A-Town down, damn it!
I
love
the A-Town down thing, but I just think because he has the U.S. title, him and Bobby, that'll be the story. Them two will be too engaged, and then that's how what's his face will come over in the top. Okay.
I look at it as I'm with you with Edge. Edge defeats AJ and Ray, moves on because this is gonna be Edge's return since Mania, right? Hasn't been on TV since. Give him a nice big quality win. I think Theory's the heel that faces off against Edge in the main event on Raw, on SmackDown. That's Theory's first SmackDown, correct? Why not let Theory make a splash as U.S. champion?
Brother, Edge got to get his win back. He already worked Theory. Plus, the Attitude Era marks in Saudi Arabia need Edge.
I love how you said, brother.
But that's exactly my line of logic too. When Shay said it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, we're going to Saudi.
I get that. I get that, but I would love it if it's Theory Rollins for the Night of Champions title. Night of Champions for the title match. That's what I see. I see A-Town down, Austin Theory. That's what I was like.
I can see that too, is because it's going to be a much more feel-good moment for Seth to beat Theory than it would be for him to beat Edge.
Yeah. Think of the history they had. Now, granted, Seth had a crazy history with Edge too when Edge came back, but Seth also had history with Theory. They had their moment for the U.S. title. So I'm thinking that's what I mentioned last time, Vern. I was like, I'd love to have Rollins Theory as a finals for the title.
Okay.
Whether he's U.S. champ or not, because what's he going to do now? Think about it.
That's easy to brag right there. I'm going to be a double champ. Like,
he beat Bobby. He beat Bronson. What story does he have right now?
Yeah.
If he's plucked into this tournament.
Smart. I'm with you.
And you know, Vince is doing half the booking anyway. So if that's the case, Theory is Vince's guy. So when Vince goes there, Seth is Triple H's guy, and Austin is Vince's guy, and then we'll see who wins the title at Night of Champions. You guys are not with me on this IWC.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I'm 100% with you because I was just thinking, I was like, God, you're probably not wrong on that actually. Somehow Vince McMahon will get blamed for
it's gonna be Vince's fault.
Either way, it's gonna be a fire finals.
Yeah, I like this tournament. This is how AEW did their All Atlantic title at first, right? They did triple threat matches from all around the world, guys from all around the world, right?
Yeah.
And then, but I think it was, I don't remember how many were there. And then they did I don't remember. I think it was very similar to this tournament, if I'm not mistaken.
4 ways, if I believe.
Let me see. All Atlantic Championship tournament. I got to see you now for myself. Now it's the International Championship. Oh no. They had they kind of did it in reverse. They had preliminary qualifiers at New Japan Road, right? And Ishii did it, but then decided not to show up. They had qualifiers for the New Japan spot for the final spot in the singles matches. They had 4 quarterfinals matches. The winners of that match then went on and did a 4-way at Forbidden Door. That's what they did. So it's kind of in reverse. That's what it was. So yeah, no, completely different. I like this format, the triple threat matches, for a difference instead of just doing 1v1v1v1v1 like that. Anything else you guys want to say about this? Or are we taking this home? I mean,
nah, I'm good.
Can't wait to see Seth go over and win that Night of Champions.
Deserves it.
Pencils waving. What song did I say we're playing?
Oh,
priceless.
Priceless.
Ooh, little daddy, I'm priceless. Hold on, it ain't playing yet. We gotta say peace out to Shay. Shay. Thank you, sir.
Yo, word. Shout out to you. Thanks for a fun, friendly conversation tonight. We didn't really get into many arguments. There wasn't, we didn't have to talk about any of the AEW. Stay on afterwards, though, because I do want to express to you my my theory on how I think that we have, how Vince has Mandela affected us all into believing.
Wait till you hear this one, Shay.
But, beyond that,
don't even tell me.
I'm not yet. I'm not leaving it at that. I'm gonna say, yo,
that's the
Shady
trailer
Shay
for you. Wait
Cash.
till you hear this movie.
Shout out to you, my guy. Thank
Shay.
you for coming on.
Peace
Chat
out.
with us.
Appreciate
Man.
you,
Always a
brother.
pleasure to have you on, brother.
Anything?
Maybe
you wanna
next
say
time we'll get the
before?
four-way dance going, but tonight, thanks for the triple threat.
Anything you want to say before you go off? And you better not mention him, bro. I'll mute you again, bro. Don't. I muted you already. Don't you do it.
I'm good.
What?
Slap nuts.
Bye, Shay. Love you, bro. What a jerk. Of course, you had to mention Jarrett. Vern Bocce, my guy. Priceless is playing right now. We'll probably get copyright for that, but who cares? Was he gonna collect money on it? No, the E will. So whatever. Let's wrap this on up. This has been episode 32 for the whole Puerto Rican flavor of this show.
Yes, sir.
For my man, on the El Sandbox Podcast Network. For my man, I didn't sound Spanish there. I sounded
Like Mork and Mindy. You sounded like you were Mork. So I don't know.
We're gonna just keep it pushing. For my man, Vernon Somoza. Touch it, touch it, touch it, touch it. I love how you don't know which way to go.
Ever. Many times I do it, never do.
I am Frank Champion. I am me. Wait, he is him. I am me. We are they. Say peace, Vern.
Peace, Vern.
And we're out of here.